We take a look at several dope games from Gamescom 2020, share our thoughts on Black Ops Cold War, and discuss the latest implications for Halo Infinite. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 246 of the It's Obvious podcast. My name is Garrett Drake, and I'm joined online by Preston Pugh.
Hello. Good morning.
And Jacob Alka.
Hello.
Hello. Mon.
Boy.
How are you guys?
I'm
good.
great.
I feel like I've asked you that 4 times this morning already, but now that we're on air, I got to ask you again. It's great to see you both as always. Jacob, I've missed you. I love you. Preston, I saw you last night, which was wonderful. We had some Papa John's pizza. Preston installed some speakers in my parents' kitchen, did a fine job. They sound wonderful. And I'm actually at my parents' now. I've just been kicking it here, hanging with my dad. He had his knee replaced recently.
Yeah. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, and I had a general idea of how that procedure's done, but he pulled up a video on YouTube where they do a very in-depth analysis of a knee replacement surgery, and something about the knee being operated on as brutally as they do that made me so nauseous I almost threw up.
Yeah.
And maybe because I hadn't eaten all day, and I have no problem with gore and horror movies and obviously violent video games, but something about seeing a human knee carved open the way they did it and like sawing away the kneecap really messed me up, man.
Mm-hmm.
I almost threw up.
Yeah.
So he prevailed, and he's going through his physical therapy and just resting and watching a lot of we watched Band of Brothers, which is the HBO World War II series. We moved on to the Pacific, watching that now. So it's been cool. And I've been doing most of my work from here as well the last few days, so it's been cool. But
Nice.
I'm in his study now, as you mentioned, so different space for me. And it's convenient because I can actually sit comfortably at a desk, which is a rare occasion for me in the podcast. And so I'm ready to rumble. How are you guys today?
I'm
What have
good.
you been up to?
I wanted to ask you, my father also had his knee replaced. And what did your dad do to need the surgery? He just had
He's just had bad knees his whole life. I'm kind of stricken with his knees as well, so it's probably an inevitability for me one day.
Dear.
I'd
Yeah.
have 1 or 2 knees replaced.
See, my dad went through like a marathon phase when he was in his like 50s. So he really tore up his knees like that whole decade. So like right after that, like he had to get his surgery. And then obviously you can't really do a lot of running after that because it still
don't do
hurts
it.
really bad even after your surgery. Like it's going to hurt the rest of your life. That's just the reality. But yeah, but he's doing okay. But I've been doing good. How about you, Preston?
Oh, I've been doing pretty good as well. Thanks for asking, Jacob.
I missed you guys last week. And I did listen to the podcast.
Well, what were you doing? You're just bailing on us to hang with your girlfriend? That's my first guess. Yes.
Yeah, I think I spent the night. Yeah, and we had like plans that morning. So
Yeah, I see where your priorities are.
and
Jacob.
then, I wasn't back home until like 10 p.m. on that Sunday. So I apologize. Well, I'm here now.
That's all right. You don't have to apologize to us. You have to apologize to the community who loves and values you. At least I assume they do.
Yeah.
I trust that they do.
I don't think
Or they could
do.
have just been,
relieved.
super happy about it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Let
Suffice
us
to
know.
say, Jacob, you have failed this city.
I'm used to it.
So, yeah, a lot of cool gaming news from Gamescom. A surprising amount of cool gaming news came out of that.
Mhm.
I did not play any games. Spoiler alert. Once we get to that segment, but
I think that was
worked a fair amount.
my biggest disappointment with Gamescom is I didn't think it was very surprising because they pretty much laid out everything that was going to be there. And a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff that was there, we already knew about.
Okay,
You know,
I've been so out of the loop on just gaming news and social media that all of it was new to me. So
I got you.
It's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, this is kind of cool too.
It's like the coolest
So-
thing to me was the Ratchet and Clank gameplay, but
That was by far the coolest.
Wait, Preston,
cool.
what about the Shadowlands release date?
Oh yeah, dude,
That's a
that
big thing.
30-minute CGI trailer was
yeah,
sick.
it was great. I'm glad you agree.
But even Ratchet and Clank, it's like, this is awesome. I'm glad you're showing this, but it's like that was the big, reveal of the show or whatever, and it was just an extended demo of something we had already seen. You know,
I'd forgotten about Little Nightmares too, so that got me pretty
Yeah.
hyped again because I love the first one.
yeah, and that was cool. It was just like, for this to be like the final shebang of Keighley's Summer Game Fest, I think that was a massive letdown.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
So I mean,
was
hopefully-
Gamescom Like, they did an opening night live last year, correct? Did it have more reveals?
I don't remember.
Okay. Because I don't know.
I know there's still more, things that are happening. Like, obviously, Xbox and PlayStation still have one more thing they have to do. We still have to find out the price of the consoles. I know
that has got to be
PlayStation's doing the freaking lottery or whatever they're doing to see if you're worthy of pre-ordering the PS5. We still don't know the price, and Xbox is don't know the price there, and I'm pretty sure Ubisoft has an event they're doing. I saw that when Resident Evil 8 was revealed, they said there was going to be more details about that game in August. Well, it's the 30th right now, so unless the data goes, unless on the 31st they show something, they push that. But
they're liars. We should boycott them and not buy their game.
Yeah, exactly. But I really hope E3 or something like that comes back next year, because I feel like this small trickle out of information that's been happening this summer has just been so much less exciting than just a typical E3 month.
Yeah, I've actually been having the same sort of thoughts, because we have that big weekend that's unlike anything else in media. We just have this one week, not weekend, just a week when we just get all these news, all these trailers, all these announcements. And when it's sort of spread out within a whole summer like it has been this year, and it's not even an in-person event anymore, it sort of just loses its what's the right word? I don't know. Whatever word you want to throw in there. It loses its mystique. It loses its its specialness.
I know what you mean. Yeah. It's let's just hope that E3 could be dead. This could have killed it, but I just hope that these publishers and stuff get together and do something that could potentially replace it. Because I think the Summer Game Fest idea is really cool. It's just I don't think everybody really got together and made it as cool as it could have been. But granted, there wasn't a lot of time to plan and stuff. So maybe Keeley can get on it extra early next year, so it can actually be an E3 event next summer.
Yeah,
but
I thought they did a good job overall though, just with the show. I thought it was fine. It just didn't have the announcements that I wanted.
Yeah, the stage was awesome. It was produced well, but it was definitely lacking a big kabam. I started recently following the Elden Ring subreddit, and it is freaking hilarious. And I started following it because PC Gamer wrote a article about it, and a bunch of news sites have been writing articles about it, how they're the most depressed fan base on earth right now, because they were holding out so much hope for Elden Ring to be at Gamescom, and their subreddit just lost its mind. They're just posting depression memes and stuff all in it, just trying to grasp onto any hope that the game even exists at this point.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the best things I've found out of Gamescom was that subreddit.
Isn't Bandai Namco helping with that?
Yeah, they do the Dark Souls and games like that. I'm assuming they're publishing this one.
Yeah. I think that's why people thought it was going to be there, because Bandai Namco was one of the names.
Yeah, and I think that was Little Nightmares 2 was the game that they did,
which is great.
Which is cool for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
we'll get into that here in a second, though.
For sure.
How are y'all's weeks?
It was good.
Mine was good.
I got to play a decent amount of video games. I guess y'all want to get into what we were playing?
Yeah.
Well, I had a couple kind of funny stories. Well, not really funny. A couple stories to share that are brief before we do that.
All right.
The Chadwick Boseman's death was, of course, kind of shocking and surprising to everyone.
Rest in peace.
Just awful.
Well, it's kind of eerie. I told Preston about this. I was working at an event the night he died, and I didn't realize he had died till the following morning.
Mm-hmm.
But this woman who was hosting this gala had this necklace on that looked exactly like T'Challa's armor, like that neck piece, a part of the Black Panther suit. And I asked her, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, "Is your necklace T'Challa inspired?" And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, Black Panther? And she was like, oh, yeah, totally. She still had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, Wakanda Forever. She was like, yeah. And, that happened to be the same night he passed away, which I thought was kind of eerie. But that was one thing. And then one of the other hosts was actually, I found out after the fact, she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I thought that was just kind of funny because when I saw her, I was like, that is a stunning. She was so beautiful. I was like shocked by it. I was like, and it was such a small event and it was a digital event too. So all it was like the camera crew, producers, and the people hosting it. So I didn't really think much of it, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the following day, I went to a taco place to meet with someone, and this girl and this other guy sat next to us at this table. And there was another girl who was shockingly beautiful. But then I realized, like, she has to be someone. I recognize her from something. And at first, it didn't register with me that she might be on like a TV show or something. But I just thought, I was like, maybe I've seen her somewhere before. But then I kind of confirmed that they were definitely on a show or a movie or something, because these two ladies walked by and like lost their minds talking to these two people. And they were clearly two cast members. Yeah. And I overheard something about they were obviously in the city filming. But I couldn't, she was so recognizable. I just couldn't remember what show she was on. So that was kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. But those are the interesting aspects of my week, because I did not get to play any games. When we talk about games, I'll share what I'm dying to play right now, but did not play anything. So unless you guys have something else to share prior to what we've been playing, we can get into that.
I could share what I did yesterday. I had a pretty good Saturday. I woke up. I did a little bit of cardio down in my parents' basement. We have an elliptical down here, so I was on that for a good hour. That was fun. And then I took a shower right after that. And then Clara came over. We had a quick lunch, had some sushi from Publix. Publix sushi, by the way, is very
it's pretty good.
I don't know if anyone knows about that, but my God. I've had it probably a few times since I've met her every week, and I'm not sick of it yet. I always get a different roll, and it's always an adventure. So I recommend it if you haven't had it in a while. But yeah, we had that. Then we went up to, we hung out in Cumming this week. So just today, I guess, or yesterday. Gosh. And then we hiked up to I think it's called the Indian Seats, right, Garrett? We hiked up, I guess that's Sawney Mountain. And, that was really fun. It was actually a nice day yesterday. It wasn't too hot. It was a lot of cloud cover, a nice breeze, especially at the top, at the peak. We sat up there for a good 30 minutes just chatting and, just enjoying the weather. It was a really nice day. And obviously the view's really, really nice too. And then after that, we came back, got ready, and we went out to, Garrett, I don't know if you've been to this place. It's called Cherry Street Brewery. It's in Vickery Village.
I can't say I have. I think I've heard of that place.
It's like right next to Cinco, if you've been there. But yeah,
I have no idea.
So apparently this place has really good chicken tenders. So as a chicken tendy lover myself, I of course got the chicken tendies, and let me tell you, you need to go there and have those chicken tenders because they are very, very good. And not only
Cherry Street what?
Brewery.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a restaurant, but they also,
Where's this at?
It's in Vickery Village. You know where that is?
Vickery. Oh, wait, yeah. I actually drive past Vickery Village every time I come to my parents' house.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
So
I was right over there in your neck of the woods. But not only are their chicken tenders very good, but they have a very bomb honey mustard sauce, and it goes perfectly with these tenders. And I think I was in heaven with each bite that I took out of these things. And I was sipping on a nice little old-fashioned beverage over to the side.
What a phenomenal day, Jacob.
Oh, it was great. And then I had this mac and cheese and these fries. The fries were okay, but the mac and cheese, was so good. And yeah, that was basically my day. And then we came back and we watched. You would think that we would watch Black Panther, but we talked about it. We were like, no, we'd rather watch Thor Ragnarok. So that's what we did. And I don't regret it at all.
I know it's it's kind of in bad taste to say this, but I think Thor Ragnarok is a way better movie than Black Panther overall.
Yeah. I think Thor Ragnarok,
like Black Panther, not to undermine Black Panther, but I think Ragnarok is brilliant.
Yeah, I think Ragnarok might be my favorite Marvel movie. Like it's right up there. Maybe some of the Avengers movies have it beat, but yeah.
That's that was a good Saturday. Of Taika Waititi's work, and that movie really helps it stand apart from the rest of the MCU. And I know he's slated to work on the next major Star Wars film, which I think is thrilling. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to reiterate, if you guys have not seen Jojo Rabbit, it's one of Taika's most recent films, or it is his most recent film. It is truly brilliant. It is incredibly funny, but also very heartfelt. So cannot recommend it enough.
Nice, dude. I don't think this happened this week, but it happened like the last weekend before, or the one that I missed. But I watched what's it called? The Greatest Showman on Disney Plus, and Hugh Jackman he's a madman. He's really talented. I really enjoyed the movie.
He's phenomenal and everything, but I've heard Greatest Showman is excellent. I know Preston has not seen it either because his mom's a diehard, but I do need to watch it at some point because everyone I've ever met who has seen that movie cannot stop talking about it. It's
so good. Like, not only are all the songs catchy, but just the cast is like, even Zac Efron like kills it. It's great.
My mom talks so much about it that just to annoy her, I can't watch it.
Preston, please.
Yeah, it's just like an ongoing joke of me not watching it, so I gotta keep it up.
I feel that.
I'm trying to think of the Hugh Jackman film I watched recently. I think it was on HBO. Maybe it's on Netflix. I can't remember. But he's a school superintendent. It's based on a true story. Yeah. I can't remember the title of it, but it was really good.
Yeah, it's not even like the movie was like well written. Like, it's a story that we've seen in like other forms many times, but it's it's a heartfelt story. Has a good cast and the songs are good. So I recommend it to a lot of people.
Yeah, he really is.
And obviously Hugh
phenomenal.
Jackman is
Yeah, like I watched Prisoners again not too long ago. That movie's a total masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's excellent in that. That just really goes to show. I mean, you're so used to recognizing him as Wolverine, especially in Logan is obviously like the magnum opus of his time as Wolverine easily. But comparing his portrayal of Wolverine to any number of other characters, especially a musical character he's played, is really amazing. So I'm a big Hugh Jackman fan.
I agree. I feel like I've watched something else, and I want to talk about it, but you kind of have to remember what you watched to do that. I know I've been watching God of High School. I think Kyle Bojangles from our community recommended that to me, and it's also very good. It's about basically these high schoolers in this anime. This is an anime, by the way, with the name of God of High School. But basically it's like a everyone's fighting like the top fighters from each high school. Like,
of course they are.
Yes,
that's
they compete locally.
Vast majority of anime there.
There's a local tournament for each like high school division, I guess. Then they compete in like a national tournament. But it's basically like this big fantasy show where these guys can muster the power from the gods, and they can translate that into the power of their fighting moves. And it has really good animation, and it's just entertaining.
Are there a lot of school aspects to this as well?
No,
there's all the fighting.
Zero school. It's all about.
It's just all fighting.
Yeah. I think there's only like 8 episodes so far.
But I kind of want the high school aspect included.
Yeah.
I mean, then you kind of just have like.
Why don't you just play Persona, Garrett? Just go play some Persona.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, this
one
is
of these days.
It's more so like each of these characters have their backstories and they have their reasons for wanting to win the tournament. Because I think if you win the tournament, you get one wish granted, no matter what it is. So everyone has their own like personal motivations for wanting to win. Like there's this one chick that wants to like carry forward her father's sword technique, and she's like she wants to master the sword technique and then like honor his name or something. And then there's this other dude who's actually the main character, and he just wants to be the best. He's like your typical average main character. He just wants to be the best. He just wants to fight people because he wants to get stronger. He
Ash
likes
Ketchum.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have this other dude who has like a dark history, and he's just like he has his own motivations, and he's like
who's the comic relief?
The main character. He's just a complete goofball.
Okay.
And the other two people that I just described are his friends that he meets in the tournament, and they sort of like in the second round of the tournament they fight as a team, which I haven't got through yet. But
how's the love interest?
I think the girl and the main character they're kind of like hinting towards that, but there's not really any love interest yet.
Okay, so it's not like the anime where like every girl in contact with him is like trying to get with him.
No, it's not Sword Art.
Okay.
Which, by the way, just got so good. Sword Art,
dude. I'm catching up. I watched 2 episodes yesterday.
Mm-hmm. It's insane right now. Really enjoying.
I mean, I'm on episode like 16 of the first part of Alicization, so I still got a while to go. But
yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I'm at the part where they are climbing the side of the tower.
Okay,
if you remember that.
Oh wow, yeah,
I'm way behind.
Yeah, things will get juicy after that.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I've sort of been doing this week. Yeah, nothing too
Nice.
exciting. I was watching Altered Carbon too, but we sort of quit watching that after we learned that the season the show was ending. I might finish the first season just because I've heard it's good, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to
Jacob,
motivate
I wanted to
yourself.
ask you before we carry on what your thoughts are on the Batman trailer.
And
maybe like some brief thoughts on like the Batman games like Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights.
The Batman trailer looks very cool. I don't have any complaints about it at all. I sort of like how they're doing this take on the villains. They're sort of, like they don't even look like the villains. They look modernized. Like they look, at least from the trailer, what we saw. Like I liked how the Riddler looked. I like was it Penguin in the trailer? Or what we think someone is going to be Penguin. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. Is there another villain? I feel like there was. Like it was Catwoman, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's more of an anti-hero.
And I've like read that she's going to be sort of like she's going to become Catwoman in this movie, maybe towards the end of it. But yeah, I think I like how dark it looks. I like obviously like I listened to you guys talk about the ending where like Patterson's just beating the crap out of the guy at the end. And I like that brutalness, and I want to see a lot more of that from that Batman. And yeah, I mean, I just really want to. I'm excited for the movie. Like I'm all on board for sure. Then as far as what is it called? DC Heroes, DC Legends,
Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
close enough.
Gotham Knights. I thought that looked really cool. It reminded me a lot of the Arkham Batman games. I kind of like how Batman's not in the game. I think that's kind of cool.
Or is he?
Right. Yeah.
Nope,
is he really
not.
dead? I don't know.
He is.
But
he is.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I do think he is.
I think they have a nice cast of characters that's pretty compelling. I wonder if there's going to be like a lot of customization. I don't really know that. I haven't looked too much into the game. I just watched the.
They're supposed
reveal.
to be.
Okay, that's cool. And I assume all these characters are going to have their own little kits, which is cool. That are personalized for the lore of the character. I just hope the missions are fun. Like obviously it's a co-op game. Is it only two player co-op or is it four?
Only
Okay,
two player.
Okay, so that's interesting. But
that actually gives me a little more
faith.
Puts me at rest a bit more.
Dude,
that
some details came out. They came out and addressed some of the RPG stuff, and apparently there's no level gating. You're never going to get
beautiful.
to so it doesn't sound as RPG-ish in terms of that stuff as some people
I would hope
thought.
it's just as simple as an Arkham. It's like a multiplayer Arkham game where you can just customize your appearance and your abilities for fun, like more like God of War style. Like you have all these abilities to unlock and use them as you will. But like you said, if it isn't level gating, that's amazing news.
Yeah. So yeah, I assume you're just going to be going around Gotham, stopping every major villain in the Batman universe.
Dude, I love that. I'd love to just be kicking it with one of you guys. Like I'm Nightwing or Robin or someone's Red Hood, and we're just kind of standing there, and we get an alert like this area of Gotham needs we need backup, and we like ride our bat cycles to that part of the city and beat up bad guys like classic Batman. That's something I guess Arkham Knight had similar aspects like that.
Let me read through some of this stuff. IGN did an interview, it was like 3 days ago with some quick details. Apparently the way that it plays is a little bit different than Arkham Knight, but they're saying that people that are comfortable with third-person brawler type experiences will feel comfortable here. Newly introduced offensive and defensive choices, unique combos, variations, and attack types. Their players will be able to access special moves and abilities, which are unique to 4 different playable characters in the game. You have special abilities in your ability tree that you'll unlock, and you can choose to unlock it in different ways, as well as how you use your gear. Players level up and progress. They'll face a sliding scale in terms of not just the level of the enemies, but even some of the types of enemies that you're going to be coming up against. You might see guys that are a little bit weaker than you and guys that are a little bit stronger than you, and how you approach each of those situations presents you with some choices that you're going to have to make. Of course, you can choose, to be like all-out assault or adopting a stealthier approach. Completely open world. It will not feature level gating, like I said. So every location of the map is completely open. They also said,
God bless
again,
'em.
it's not a live service game. This is very much designed as it's not as a game of service. There's an ability tree, which is different for each character. There's gear that you craft. So choices that you're going to be making, but that does not mean that it's a games as service game. It can be played completely solo and offline. Yeah. So those are some details that definitely made me, I was already hyped for this game, but yeah, that definitely made me even more excited. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I think it looks fun, and that's the most important thing. The missions look. I liked how you could actually like. It seemed like you could maybe go indoors. Like there was a point where they were going around like tight corners around this like iceberg structure that Freeze had sort of created in the city.
Yeah.
It seemed like going to be sort of going around tight corridors into like to progress maybe the story. I don't know, but yeah, it looks fun. So I'll definitely be playing it.
Totally
going
to play as a stealthy Robin for sure.
There you go. But as far as Suicide Squad goes, I guess it looks fine. It didn't really compel me. I mean, we just got a trailer, correct? There wasn't any gameplay.
No.
So I guess it looks fun. I don't know. But yeah.
It'll be fun. I have complete faith in Rocksteady.
Yeah. So we'll see what it's like. But not necessarily excited for it.
Yeah, I'm just like, when they want to show more, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
But anyways, you guys want to hop into what we were playing?
Yeah.
Do it.
Cool. I kind of had a sad / happy gaming week. Like I said, I did get to play a decent amount of Persona 5 Royal. I am in the midst of the 4th palace. And that's a really, really good palace. One of my favorites for sure. That's Futaba's palace. The whole like Egyptian aesthetics of it I've always thought was really cool. So still doing that, still having a ton of fun with it. But alongside that, I had just a random urge to play Sleeping Dogs again. Which Sleeping Dogs was originally, I believe, True Crime Hong Kong before they completely Square Enix revamped it and made it into a Sleeping Dogs, which was in 360, and then they made a definitive edition for current generation a few years ago. And I think I had it on PS Plus, so I decided to download it again and play through it. And that actually kind of took over Persona 5 for a little bit. I was playing it a lot. The combat's just fun. It is pretty janky and doesn't look good, but I still think it's a really fun game. Just run around and play, and the story's interesting enough. It's like about you play as an undercover cop infiltrating these Chinese gangs, the Triad. So you're like, there's 2 sets of missions. You're doing like police investigative missions, or you're like planning bugs, tailing drug dealers and stuff, and then you're doing like actual like gang member missions and stuff. So I was having a ton of fun until I hit one mission that crashed on me like 4 or 5 times, and I literally can't progress in the game anymore. And I Googled it, and this has been a problem ever since the game was even released. So they never fixed it, and it's so bad that like I kind of have to stop playing it. And
so has everyone beat the game? Like, can you just not beat the game?
So I looked up the Reddit page for Sleeping Dogs to see if people had this issue. Nobody's talked about it, but I did notice that the only people that were posting screenshots of them 100% of the game were people on Xbox. They were showing the achievements. I did not see one person post a platinum trophy on like several pages of me scrolling. So yeah, I guess as of now, like I cannot recommend you buy that game on PlayStation because it's broken. It's completely broken, and I don't feel like deleting it or re-downloading it or whatever. And like I said, I've seen enough people that have the same issues as me. It's same mission and everything. When I Google it, to where it seems to be just like a common issue. So yeah, it bummed me out, dude, because I was, I really like that game, and it's a pretty easy platinum. and I just was. It was just a game where Persona takes some time to get into. So if I came home from work and I kind of just wanted to play something I could hop into really quick, that was the game I was going to. So definitely a pretty big bummer that I'm gonna have to drop that. So that was pretty sad. The other sad thing was Wasteland 3 came out on Friday, and I've been kind of looking forward to that. It's I can't remember if Fallout was a spiritual successor to Wasteland or if it was the other way around.
Fallout came after.
Okay, gotcha. So Fallout was a spiritual successor.
I learned that from Discord this week.
Gotcha, cool. So, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to hop in. This game looks awesome. It's essentially like a new old school Fallout coming out. So download it on Game Pass, and dude, it's awesome. The character customization in terms of like how you allocate skill points and stuff. You create 2 characters at the beginning, or you can take some characters that were already made. That's super cool. The combat is super cool. The characters I've come in contact are super cool. I don't like this game. I can't get into it, dude. I'm having the same issue I had with Divinity Original Sin. It's like everything about this game is so cool, but I can't get into it. I don't know if it can't be the camera angle, the isometric view, because I like Diablo. That's about the only game I can think of that I like with that view. It's got to be the combat, the turn-based, like grid-based combat. I don't think connects with me, because I'm fine with turn-based combat. Like I love Persona, I love the older Final Fantasies. Like I can do turn-based combat. I think it's just the grid style combat just is either boring to me or just I can't connect with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I never took the plunge into Fire Emblem, because I'm scared.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I'm scared when I get that game, because everything about that game sounds freaking awesome to me. It's like I'm going to buy it and I'm going to have this exact same revelation that I always have. And it's like I always get excited for these types of games because I should like them. And I always get disappointed. Like I've tried Divinity Original Sin like 3 times, and one time it clicked for me. I've talked about it where I played it like all day and I was like, finally. And then I went back to it and I couldn't play anymore. I was so bored out of my mind.
It's disappointing.
It bums me out because Baldur's Gate 3 looks awesome. Like the gameplay demo, I'm like, that looks so cool. And I'm like, why am I getting hyped for this? It's the exact same thing over and over again. I think I'm just hoping one of these games is going to just grab me, and then all the other ones are going to make sense finally. But if this game can't grab me, a like Fallout like experience like this that's received very well, like people that like these type of games love this game. It's a great game. I completely see and acknowledge that this game is great. And while I'm playing it, I'm like, that's cool. But they just do not. I just can't connect with them, and it's just a massive bummer.
Yeah.
So
that's on my list. Preston has made me weary about picking it up because, as it is, like I think you said it was on Game Pass. That's why I was like, man, I'll definitely try that at the very least, because I've always been drawn to isometric perspective games, and of course the RPG elements you talked about. The reviews I've seen are nothing but praise. So I might still try it and see how I get into it. And the only reason I stopped playing Divinity is just because something else had come out and I just stopped entirely. But it's just my same spiel I always say. I don't really have time, but I really want to play it at some point. So I get that, though. I've had those similar feelings. And we had that weird revelation. Like, I guess it's the immediate satisfaction that Diablo provides versus sort of the slow burn of some of these other games with that isometric camera angle. And it's weird, too, because I guess it is some of the systems, too. It isn't so much the camera angle, but camera angle is certainly part of it.
Yeah. Is it weird, like...
It makes you feel a little more disconnected from what you're doing.
I mean, I know Diablo's this way, too, but, like, is it... You almost feel like you're disconnected from the world? Because, like, if you think... When you're playing, like Ghost of Tsushima, for example, like, you're right behind the character. You're a part of the world. Like, you're literally riding through the world on your horse. Like, is it weird, like, being above the characters in a sense where... Like it literally looks like you're just on a map. You can see the map. You can see how it's on a grid system. Like it takes away the excitement maybe of transversing a world, or like even like extending that to the combat. Like Like I know it's not a turn-based thing for you because you like Persona, you like a lot of turn-based games. But like,
I
don't
maybe because I hopped back into. I saw when that wasn't connecting for me. I still just kind of had that urge, so I hopped into Fallout New Vegas because I had it downloaded, and I played that game for like 2 hours straight after that, and I was like completely enthralled with it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm thinking like, do I just have like a is my brain more like fixated on just like shoot like bang stupid stuff, like I'm aiming.
I think it's a little more complex than that. I think it really does come down to the disconnection that is inherently involved with having that isometric camera angle, which I do like. I don't necessarily dislike, but I think it's kind of objective that you feel more disconnected from both the world you're in and the character you're inhabiting or controlling because you're just so far away. And I know some of these camera angles will zoom in, and you'll have conversations, but 99% of the time you're up above looking at everything. So it's almost like you're an onlooker versus actually being a part of that.
Yeah. It also, I feel like I'm not, the exploration doesn't feel as satisfying as well. Cause it's just like, you
can see everything.
Yeah. And it's like, I went through a mission in Wasteland 3 and I found like a secret area. I went back behind this house and this like eyeball came up and like glittered, and I was like, oh, this must be a secret area. So I run in there, and I didn't have any of like my skills high enough to like either lockpick this door or like repair the generator to open the door or anything. And so I just walked around the room and was like, all right, cool. And I left. And like it's cool that I found that, but it's just like I don't know. I wasn't like really pumped about finding the area or anything, because it's pretty much like the exploration is you use the WASD keys and you just like move the camera around and you're just clicking for where they run. And I don't know. It's just not fun to me. I don't know.
So is there no fog of war in those type of games? Can you just see the map
of war?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah. Because like I feel like in those games in particular, like I know Diablo does this too.
Divinity definitely has a fog of war.
Because I feel like that system in those kind of games is kind of cool because you don't know where you should move next, so it kind of creates this like mystery to like how you play unless you like played through it before. Like you don't know how these maps are going to be, so you're kind of just trying to find the enemy at the same time as like I know in Divinity it's like more about questing and stuff and you're going on a journey, but like for example in Diablo like you don't know where you're supposed to be going, you're just kind of wandering around and killing stuff as you go. So that was just a little side tangent, but yeah, I don't know why you struggle to enjoy these games.
Maybe it's because I'm just playing Persona right now and just playing two types of games where I have to like think a little bit is too much for my little brain right now or something. I don't know, because I'm actually insanely tempted to pick up Avengers this week because I want a game that I want a game to replace my sleeping dogs now. Like when I'm not feeling it, when I get home from work, to like, I'm going to be the Hulk and just run around and just beat stuff up for like an hour, you know? Yeah. Like I want a game like that right now to play alongside with Persona. So yeah, but anyways, that's where I am with games right now. So
very nice. Very nice.
Very eclectic, Preston. I admire it.
Indeed.
What about you, Jacob? What have you been playing?
I have not been playing much, really. I
played on wonderful dates.
I did. Yeah. I've had a, productive week. Not playing a whole lot of games, but I was playing some more Tsushima. I'm still in Act 2. I've done almost every side quest in the world. I feel like I've done so much in the game, but I'm in the same spot. I feel like the last main story quest that I just did, I think, was I was defending this town from the Mongols invading. And it was like a town that didn't want my help at first, but I've like sort of, I got their archers back, so now they're helping us again. And I forgot who the story goes through. I think it's through one of the lady side characters that you sort of quest with through the game. It might be the chick that rescues you at the beginning, actually. Sorry, small spoilers at the beginning of the game. But yeah, I'm sort of just like defending this town right now. That's sort of where I turned my PS4 off yesterday, as Clara was coming over. But yeah, the game's obviously it's really fun. I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm kind of ready for this to be over. Like nothing's really exciting anymore. Like I know in Act 3, like in the transition from 2 to 3, you get like a cool new stance, I think, which will be exciting. And I've heard that you get like an ability to make your sword go on, like to make your sword on fire, and that's really cool. Haven't found that yet.
That's what's good about that game is that each act there's plenty of new stuff to enjoy.
I think I'm just stalling too much. I'm trying to like knock out anytime I like get a new little portion of the map, unfogged, I'll go there and I'll go do a fox den. I'll go do the stronghold and I'll go do like a couple missions that are over there too. But it's kind of draining me at the same time. So maybe I just need to hunker down and get through the game because
you're not alone, Jacob. I've not finished it either.
Oh, you haven't?
No. Oh I'm still at the onset of Act 3. I haven't played it in over 2 weeks. So
wow. Do you think you'll go back?
Yeah, that's the thing is I might, maybe, if I get all my work done today, I might have like an hour tonight before I go to bed. But I'd like to play it a little bit more. I'm definitely going to finish it. It just may be a little while. I'm just kind of like, I was in a transitional period between school and work, and the pandemic hit. And now I'm in the transitional period of just doing all this work to play catch up on like the debt I accumulated from the pandemic. So I have not said no to any work opportunities that have come my way. So I've had no choice but to like accept all of those.
Yeah.
So it's completely obliterated any chance I have of playing games for a while. Gotcha. But I'd love to play at least a couple hours tonight because I miss playing it. And I think I'll appreciate it and enjoy it even more after taking such an extended break. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited to get back into it.
Yeah.
I miss that game. I really can't wait for that content update to come, and I just wish I had more stuff to do. Like when I platinumed it and did everything. When you platinum the game, you get this cool new dye, and it's like red and gold, and it looks super awesome. And it's like, man, I wish I had stuff to do wearing this. Wearing this
What's
armor.
The point? I'm done.
Yeah, but
I feel like New Game Plus would really serve that game well.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that might be inevitable too. Didn't Second Son have a New Game Plus at some point?
I think so.
I feel like every open world action adventure game needs a New Game Plus because think about all the abilities you unlock, the stances, the costumes, the dyes. They could even like New Game Plus could up the difficulty even more or something, or add some sort of new element to make it interesting. I think it'd be another great free update post this multiplayer update that's coming. And it'd be a really nice surprise for people who really love the game. I'll never not appreciate New Game Plus in anything. Yeah. So one day I'll do Last of Us again or finish my New Game Plus playthrough.
Yeah, it's never really been my thing, but I appreciate the system. I think it's a cool. I used to play New Game Plus in like Ratchet and Clank and stuff. Like I think Going Commando was the one in particular that I did. And that was fun. Like I just don't have the time to replay games like I used to, so it doesn't necessarily excite me like when I was younger. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about Ghost. And then I played a little more WoW. I got a new mount this week, boys.
It really is every other week you get a new mount.
Yeah, I got it kind of looks like a Triceratops.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like this blue Triceratops. He's got some horns. He's a pokey boy. And, you don't be close to me when I'm riding him. You might get your eye poked out. But, yeah. And haven't really done much other than that. Just been farming some old raids, getting some old armor sets, getting ready for Shadowlands, which is coming in about 2 months. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about it here in our Gamescom coverage. But that's all I got for you boys.
I dig it. So as I said, I have not played anything in a while, but 2 games I'm dying to play, but to an extent makes sense because they're great games, but it doesn't make sense because I have plenty of games on my backlog. But I'm dying to play Batman Arkham Asylum and BioShock. And I don't know which one I'm going to do first, but we're nearing Halloween season, we're nearing the fall, and those 2 games have been heavily in my mind. Batman for a little while, even prior to the Batman trailer, but now that I've seen that trailer, I'm just dying for more Batman content. And I've played City I've played it all the way through 3 times and have just dabbled into sequences of it up to about 6 times. I'm very familiar with that game. I really like Arkham Knight, but it's still pretty fresh in the mind, so I kind of want to go back and play Asylum again. I know the following games improved upon Asylum in countless aspects, but partly nostalgia, and of course my love for Batman has inspired me to go back and play Asylum, hopefully sooner than later. And BioShock, just because it's a phenomenal game. You still need to play that, Jacob. I beg you to play it. If you even kind of liked Infinite, dude, you will adore BioShock 1.
I think earlier this year I was very close to doing it, but as I told you guys, or maybe it was just Garrett. I don't know if Preston was on the podcast frequently at this time, but I put in that BioShock 1 into my PS4, and I just couldn't do it. Like the game just felt so old to me. It felt clunky. Like aiming with a controller felt awful. I couldn't hit anything. So I was just like, you know what?
Play on PC. Just pick it up on PC and go for it. That's where I'm going to play it next.
I was thinking about either playing that or jumping into something like Divinity 2 here pretty soon after I finish Ghost. Nice. Before like we get all these fall releases. So we'll see which one I go with. But both of them are on my backlog.
Yeah. So I want to play those two. Cannot wait. I don't know which I'm going to do first. I'll see when I actually have the time to play a game, at least for an hour or two a night. I'll see how I'm feeling at the time. So excited for those. And of course, I intend to pick up Tony Hawk when it releases, just because ever since I played the demo, I was reminded of what I love about that franchise and kind of had a newfound revelation of like, oh, this is what this game's about. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, the video I posted, that was gameplay from the game that some, clearly a professional was played it in a way I have never seen in my life, and it blew my mind how insane it was. So I cannot wait to play that, and it makes perfect sense for me because it is one of those bite size you can jump in and out very quickly, and it's immediately satisfying. It's a lot of fun. So playing that, and aside from my ambition and desire to play those games, have not touched anything else in a while. So looking forward to that. But that is all we've been playing, boys. I say we jump into this news.
Let's do it, dude.
Let's do it.
Gamescom. We have a few things on our list here that stood out, of course. What do you guys want to start with? You want to go in order of our notes, or do you want to just kind of bounce around for fun?
Let's start
I didn't
off
write
with,
everything down.
Dragon Age 4.
Yeah. Dude, that art looks pretty solid.
Yeah, dude. I love the art. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, I actually really do get, I've been talking about art style a lot recently, and just seeing that was intriguing to me. Now, granted, this is coming from someone who has never finished a Dragon Age game, but the comments seem to be pretty positive based on what I was reading. So it looks very pretty so far. I know we haven't seen actual gameplay, but just the world they're building looks gorgeous.
I hope it's better than Inquisition. So I did enjoy that game, but
didn't that win Game of the Year from an outlet or two?
It won Game of the Year from a lot of outlets. I don't think really a lot came out that year.
It was the new console generation.
I actually did dabble in Inquisition for a little bit this week as well. I forgot to say that.
Man, you really get around.
Many things.
I dip my toe for like 5 minutes into several things because I can't figure out what I want to freaking play.
Yeah, I've never been like that. Like I never just try a bunch of games and see what clicks. I always just like.
I know exactly what I want to.
I'm more hesitant to start anything because I don't want to just waste my time jumping into something. Not to say that you're wasting your time, because you do your time with what you want. But I don't know. Like when I invest in something, I want to make sure that I want to do it,
Yeah.
Like I'm in
I don't
for
know.
the long
I'm just stupid. It's like I have Persona 5 over here and I just sing its praises and it's so freaking good. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to put that on the back burner and play Dragon Age Inquisition for 5 minutes.
Well, Preston, it does make sense. You've played through that game at least twice, right? If not 3 times already.
Yes, but like this is the Royal version, Garrett.
I know, but still, it doesn't matter. It's more or less a lot of the same features. I know there's more packed into Royal, but you've experienced that game many times already.
Yeah, just watch a YouTube video.
No, I'm not. Dude, I'm already like 70 hours into it. I'm finishing the game.
It's enough time.
Finish what you start, no matter what it takes.
So, but yeah, I am excited for the new Dragon Age, and I do want to finish Inquisition, and I do want to finish the Trespasser DLC, which I believe is going to tie directly into the 4th game, from what I've heard. So I do want to finish that at some point, so I am ready for Dragon Age 4, because I have finished 1 and 2, and I do like both of those games so far more than Inquisition, but I do feel like I owe it to myself to finish Inquisition.
It was okay.
You didn't even finish it, right? Didn't your save get corrupted?
Yeah, my save got corrupted. I couldn't load the game back up.
That happened to me in Oblivion, dude. I've been there. I played my original playthrough of Oblivion. I was about 45, 50 hours into, and I was in
Mhm.
some city with a gigantic bridge spanning across the top of the city. And for fun, I was like, I'm just going to jump off and kill myself for fun. Just, it's what you do in open world action adventure
Maybe
games.
that's what you do.
Yeah. So I jumped off the bridge and I hit the ground so hard that my game froze. I was like, oh, that sucks. This was on 360 back in the day. Restart my my game, and every time I try to load that save, for some reason it auto saved the moment I hit the ground.
Ooh.
And every time I would try to load, it would freeze loading.
Mhm.
I tried it 20 times, never loaded. And of course, that was devastating. And replayed everything after that. But at the time, that was the most fascinating game I'd ever played in my entire life. So I had no problem starting over. But
Yeah.
that was pretty devastating.
Mhm.
Especially because I had a house in that city. I remember I had a house and I decorated it with all of my collected rare weapons and armor sets. And I was so proud of my collections in that game. And I think I'd completed the entirety of the Dark Brotherhood storyline. So I was on fire, man. And that's what happens when you try to entertain yourself by morbidly throwing yourself off a bridge. So I don't recommend doing that in dated games like that because it could result in disaster.
Yep. But yeah, I think my favorite thing about Inquisition was going to all the different like biomes in the game. Like it was always fun to go to a different place. I didn't necessarily enjoy the combat that much. I think there can be a lot of improvements made on that front. But just the story, like the overall story and the worlds itself in the game was really, really compelling to me. So if they can just do more of that in 4, then I'm going to be on board, of course. And I do expect that I'll be playing this game when it comes out. But it obviously looks very early in development. I don't think we have any gameplay to show. It's just a bunch of concept art that they threw at us. And a bunch of these like developers speaking about what makes Dragon Age special to them. I don't know what that trailer was.
That's typical when you have nothing to show off, but you feel like you need to show something. EA's like, you got to do something. They're like, oh, we love Dragon Age.
Yeah,
we have some pictures to show you.
And then like let's show how progressive we are by having all these people from different walks of life in the video too. Yeah, that'll make people really happy too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what we got. But so I don't really have any real thoughts on this.
I didn't think we were going to talk about that for that long.
I'm going to keep an eye out though. I think what killed Inquisition for me was the running animation. Didn't love it. So that's why I tried every race, every character, every gender to see if like maybe one of these characters runs normally. And it bothered me to the point where I stopped playing that. I mean, run animations can make or break experiences for me. Like Pokemon Coliseum back in the day, one of the worst, unequivocally the worst running animation of any third-person character in the history of games.
I think
it's truly atrocious.
I think ESO beats it.
I haven't seen ESO.
That kept me from playing that game. How bad?
See, that's you got to nail it, dude. Even some YouTuber, or someone I was watching recently, maybe even have been someone I know. It was a girl who said she tried to play a game and was also turned off by the running animation. I thought that was fascinating. That I knew this was someone who doesn't often play games. She plays like rarely plays anything. But when I heard that coming from her, I was like, this is proof that it isn't just, we're not crazy for feeling that way. That can be very distracting. Because think about it, it's a third-person game. I mean, of course, you're looking at the world around you, but your eyes are pretty fixated on your character a lot of the time. So if you're looking at something ridiculous, of course, you're not going to want to continue playing it. Unless it's just an amazing game that the mechanics and world and story outweigh the poor animation. But can't ever overlook animation. It's crucial. So that's my my biggest hope for Dragon Age 4 is that.
I say that, and then Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's different about that. That's a particular charm that's irresistible. Yeah. It's like the jank is a part of the charm.
For sure. So. That's interesting, though, because Inquisition, I've never one time thought about the running animation.
Can you play Inquisition?
I think it may have been the way it felt too. It felt kind of heavy and floaty to me, from what I remember.
Huh? Oh, maybe it's different on PC at a higher frame rate. I don't know. What were you saying, Jacob?
What were you going to say, Jacob?
I was going to ask if you could play in first person in Inquisition. You can't, right?
No, it's all third person.
It's like the third person. Then you have like that overhead
tactical camera. Yeah.
I'm hoping the jank of the seemingly the jank in the melee combat of Cyberpunk, the charm of that game outweighs those poor animations. That's the only like truly poor aspect of that game I've seen from all the preview events. But aside from that, everything looks tremendous.
At least they've acknowledged it and they say they're continuously working on it. But
Right.
In terms of me, I'm just not. I'm going to be shooting people in the face with a shotgun, so
Right.
I'm not really too worried about it.
It just confuses the heck out of me when developers show anything that they should know people are gonna have concerns about. Like, we're not gonna go into tangent. We'll talk about Infinite later, but it just still astounds me that they showed that game off and the state it was in. Like, what are you doing? Like, you'd always only ever show off the best you've got, because Cyberpunk thankfully had many first impressions prior to that kind of set the tone. But imagine if they had opened with that, because I think one of the gameplay demos does open with that melee sequence. So anyway, that's besides the point. All right, what are we talking about next?
Oh, we're going to talk about Call of Duty.
God,
the trailer we got.
Dude,
Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War.
I'm very excited for this game.
I am too.
I'm pretty excited as well.
I'm mainly excited because my boys over at Raven Software, they're taking the campaign, super underrated studio. Everybody needs to go play Singularity. I believe that was their last FPS game they put out by themselves. Insanely underrated. Just played it not too long ago. Still holds up. So those dudes can make a campaign. So I'm excited to see what they do with the Call of Duty franchise. And so far, what we've seen and what we've heard sounds super awesome to me.
Yeah. And by the grace of COD Connected, I'm able to add a little more context to that. So I was able to attend one of the digital preview events for the campaign, and Raven Software was the primary focus of this. Of course, Treyarch opened the digital event, but Raven Software basically took the conversation from there and solely focused on campaign, all the aspects of it, and what their ambition and sort of direction and intention with it is. And that's what I loved, is that you can tell this is more than just, we have a campaign tacked on to our predominantly multiplayer focused Call of Duty game. This is very intentional with being a direct sequel to Black Ops 1, which is one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns of all time, which was pretty exciting for me. I did not anticipate it being a direct follow-up to the first game. So that's cool. And interestingly, what's really admirable about this, and just is a further nail in 343's coffin for the time being, is that their studio and all of the actors portraying these characters have all been working from home. Activision sent recordings kits to all these actors, and they showed video of all the characters in their homes recording and doing all the physicality for these characters.
That's cool.
Which I thought was amazing, that they've put in all the work and effort to keep this game in development over the course of the pandemic. And that was really admirable to me. And whether or not it's a manipulative tactic to be like, if this game sucks, at least they tried really hard to make it from home. I do believe it was genuine, and got me really excited to see that everyone working on this really is passionate about it. And I believe that's the case for every studio, but maybe not so much publishers. But everything they were sharing, they were really on fire about this, about all the previous characters, all the new characters, some of the hints they gave about the direction of the story. There's some cool, just like Black Ops 1, there's some cool psychological aspects that go on with this campaign. And we'll get into gameplay, because I actually, I'm supposed to provide coverage. I'm extremely late because of the work I have going on, but I have stuff to share about gameplay. But I wanted to hear from you guys first what has been shown, because I have no idea what's been shown.
I don't think
publicly
much has been shown. I think the only thing that we've seen is, correct me if I'm wrong, but just a tease of the multiplayer at the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
Did they show gameplay at all?
Just barely.
Barely.
Did they talk about gameplay?
A cinematic trailer. Yeah, they have. I think other outlets have put out their previews from the same event that you saw as well. And they've talked about create a character, branching paths in the game, I believe, espionage focus, being able to complete multiple tasks, throughout a mission, stuff like that. Pretty much everything you told me before all the stuff went out or whatever, or what we talked about, is pretty much what they said. So
cool.
But we haven't seen necessarily a lot. I know they're the big a reveal. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. Is them sitting down at a table with Ronald Reagan sending them off on a mission. Then typical Call of Duty B-roll shots of people shooting and explosions and stuff.
Okay, cool. So they didn't show you any of this gameplay then, like a full on demo.
No.
Okay, because I didn't know if they were showing that or not. So they showed us a lot of gameplay. And I assume this is okay to talk about because this has been shared. Like people did their reactions to the preview, but yeah, create a character you've heard about, male or female. I think you can create some of the appearance as well. You can actually create your CIA profile background, like where you came from, which is kind of cool. And I think they said that doesn't really affect the story. It's just kind of a fun, like, this is your character's backstory. But what I like about the espionage aspects and branching paths is that they said a mission, for example, will start off stealthily, and you're kind of you're like undercover, working your way through an embassy or something. And of course, by the end of the mission, it'll result in traditional Call of Duty FPS combat. But while you're going through this area, it was sort of Dishonored inspired to me, where whether you're taking out a target or collecting intel, there are multiple ways to get to those targets, and there are multiple ways to deal with them, which I think is really unique, especially for Call of Duty. And along the way, there's intel you can collect that has nothing to do with the current mission, that actually gives you clues to other targets and side missions that you can either choose to do or not to do while you're playing through the course of the story. And all of these missions culminate in multiple endings. They said they didn't give us an exact number, but my guess is probably 3. They said there aren't a ton of endings, but there's enough to make it really interesting for each player based on decisions they make. Mm-hmm. And they said, I think there are dialogue options, and there are also like timed decisions. Like, are you going to grab the gun? Are you not going to grab the gun? Are you going to make this action or not? So I think, I've always been engaged by the majority of Call of Duty campaigns, but having those, I love those decision making, especially in the heat of the moment when you're not expecting it. It'll always kind of keep you on your toes and keep you locked into the experience.
I think that's good for Call of Duty, especially because, I don't know, maybe you guys aren't like this, but anytime that I usually play those campaigns, sometimes I like find myself not paying attention during some missions just because things sort of, like, not that they don't make sense, but everything just sort of like blends together. Like, what am I actually doing anymore? Like, what are we doing in this mission? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Like, just shooting these bad guys. It just seems like
here? There's only so much variety that you can do in like a shooter campaign. Like, I know Doom is a good example of like ways to have a really good, solid FPS campaign. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Sometimes with Call of Duty in the past, I've just felt like that, where I just don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm just sort of going through the motions of, I need to kill all these guys and then keep walking forward. And then we get to another section, I'm killing more guys. So I think this will be good for the campaign, especially.
Definitely. And I think what was really special to me about Black Ops 1, and I don't remember, of course, every moment of that game, but I remember the big moments, like the twists and the turns and some of the psychological aspects they explored, and especially the ending, like really surprised me, and I really, really loved it. That's what's special about this. I think that beyond, of course, the gameplay aspects that, in all fairness, we've experienced in many other games, it's certainly new for Call of Duty, and the passion Raven had in describing these things, and specifically the focus on characters in this game. It's not just the cool gameplay aspects of, stealth, branching paths, dialogue options, create your character. It really was about the cast of characters that are in the game. And there's one CIA character, I keep forgetting his name, but they kept talking about this guy as like the new awesome character in the game. And no one like fully trusts him. He's kind of shady. But I'm excited to see how whether he's a bad guy or not. I'm just excited to see more of his character, because all the cast, like, they had like B-roll and behind the scenes of the cast kind of talking about their characters. And they all like were super stoked to be a part of it. So that's why I'm especially excited for this, because it isn't just purely the gameplay, which to me it will always be most important, but a story that they've put a lot of care into, clearly. So aside from that, gameplay wise, I got to ask a question that I know we were kind of asking beforehand. And I know it was kind of obvious that they are not using the same engine as Infinity Ward, but I asked specifically, are you using an entirely separate engine from Infinity Ward, or is it a new engine? Are you using the old engine? Is basically what I asked. And the answer was very vague. Without saying yes or no, they said, we share many assets with Infinity Ward. And that's all they would say. So I was like, all right, that doesn't entirely answer my question. But what I can say is they showed a fair amount of gameplay. I've seen a good chunk of a flashback to Vietnam. This guy's using an M16. And interestingly, it definitely looks like a Treyarch Call of Duty. But some of the hand animations looked really solid. It looked very Modern Warfare-esque. And what's interesting about that is that I know Infinity Ward handcrafted many of those animations. They weren't even performance captured, which is just incredible that someone could handcraft an animation that looks that good. But hands look great. I know me and Preston have get hung up on hands in first-person shooters. Hands look really good. M16 sounds cool. I do wish they would. I kind of wish more games would do this. I haven't seen a game do this since maybe one of the Medal of Honors back in the day, but one first-person shooter I've played, the reload animations, there's like 3 or 4 for each gun. I understand that's probably extremely time-consuming and ultimately unnecessary, but I saw the same N16 reload animation, and it's never bothered me before in many other games, but something about this reload animation, seeing it 25 times in a matter of 2 minutes, like kind of annoyed me for some reason. Maybe I was so focused on it because when you're not in control,
when you're playing it, you're probably not even thinking.
You don't
about
notice
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like, I was just thinking that about Halo 3 gameplay I was watching the other night. I'm like noticing things in the animations I never noticed before because it's totally different when you're not in control.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, when you're playing a shooter, you're almost not even looking at your hands or your weapon. You're looking at the reticle and like what's directly in front of you. And but when you're watching someone play, you're like really picking up on all the details you kind of miss out on. But aside from that, looked good, sounded great, and there was a really cool sequence they're going through. This guy's kind of having this mental breakdown where he's going through all these. It kind of reminded me of Rift Apart actually from Ratchet. He's going through all these different realms, and this like it starts out in Nam. You're fighting this big battle in this like marsh, and then he goes through this jungle, and he's going through all these different portals, having this psychological breakdowns. That was pretty sick. I mentioned the espionage stuff. I think gameplay-wise, that's all they really showed. They showed a couple of cool cutscenes as well, and I'm excited, very excited. So
yeah, sounds awesome.
It's gonna be cool. I think is there a release date? Is it November?
November 13th.
Okay.
I think the beta was also revealed in like a website or leaked or something, and I think it's in October, early October.
Right. Okay.
And I think it's a PlayStation exclusive for like the first 3 days or something like that. But
of course it is.
Nice.
I know they teased like a multiplayer reveal in September. I don't remember what day, so that'll be happening.
September
that is
6th,
coming.
I think.
Yeah.
And what it looked like to me was a new Warzone map. That didn't necessarily seem like a multiplayer map to me. They were sort of like in a desert on vehicles.
Yeah.
So I kind of gathered that might be a new Warzone map. I don't know.
I don't think I think Warzone is Warzone. I think they'll add assets from Black Ops and do game types, or add a new map or whatever.
As far as I'm aware, that's the case.
Yeah.
I was so confused about how they described how they're contributing to Warzone that I had to ask, and even PR couldn't answer my question. So I have no idea. They're like, we'll get back to you about that. So I think they're just adding assets to Warzone, the existing Warzone, as far as I'm aware.
And then they'll have the separate actual multiplayer for Black Ops.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see like if those two exist completely separately, which one's going to be more popular? Like as like say Cold War comes out and probably Warzone.
Warzone's just like
just because it's free to play.
Is that going to be weird for like the devs that make like Treyarch and Raven? Like when they make this new Call of Duty, are they going to be like kind of bummed that people are still just playing Warzone?
Dude, I don't know. All the Call of Duty players that I follow on Twitter and stuff are psyched out of their mind for this game. Mm-hmm. Like they just the Black Ops series just has this affinity for it that people just absolutely love, and especially like Garrett said, with this being just a direct sequel to the first one, which the original Black Ops just people hold in just like such like a special place because just how nostalgic it is. Just that was Treyarch's first path like on their own, where they like kind of just branched off and did something that was like actually like competitive with Infinity Ward, because Infinity Ward was held as like the COD developer, and like World of War came out and it just seemed like Treyarch trying to copy them, and then Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then Black Ops came out, and I was like, holy crap, this is actually like on the same level as all this stuff. So it is very nostalgic for me. Like I remember playing Black Ops through high school. Just playing so much Black Ops. So I hold that game, in that game has a special place in my gaming heart. So it is cool to see people for once just all kind of like get pumped for a new Call of Duty game, and not just like mindlessly hating it like we've seen over the past couple of years. So I think it'll have really big player base, especially when you're like all these people logging into Warzone. I mean, people were already buying Call of Duty games, but with Warzone being as big as it is, and every time you boot it up, it just has Cold War just like smashed in your face. Like people are gonna buy it.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they're even like, because in Modern Warfare, the one that's current right now, there's a tab to play Warzone.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would put that in Cold War
absolutely.
too. Yeah.
There's no reason it wouldn't be in my mind. So,
but it would be a little strange because they are different engines. We think so.
That's been my entire thing I've been thinking about this entire time, is playing through this campaign, playing through the multiplayer, and then switching over to Warzone. And like you said, it looking different or maybe feeling different or whatever like that. That is a little interesting. I think they should just make Warzone its own thing. I think they need to just take it out of Modern Warfare and just make it its own game.
I think one of the developers just needs to do that full time. Put a whole studio on Warzone. Like take people off of that studio if you have to put on other Call of Duty titles. But have a team that's like, I'm sure they have a team that just does Warzone, obviously.
Yeah.
Just have a team that completely focuses on that. Like just continually add constant updates to that, make it everything that it can be, and then keep giving us campaigns and multiplayer for everyone else.
Maybe Sledgehammer, because it looks like they're not making their own Call of
what are they
Duty.
doing right now?
I'm not sure what they're doing.
I don't know. Maybe World War II and Advanced Warfare just didn't impress Activision enough. So
I know once they lost their leadership, they had those two guys. It was like, what was it, Glenn Schofield or something? No, it's Glenn Schofield. It was there's two guys. They were always in the interviews, but both of them left. So like, I guess they just lost faith in the studio. I don't know.
I actually watched. I was scrolling through our Let's Plays the other night, and I came across our World War II Let's Play we had done for Call of Duty, and I was shocked at how much better Modern Warfare looks in that game. And I know it's kind of a product of its time too, but it's crazy. It really puts into perspective the leap Infinity Ward made with Modern Warfare. I think it's far more than I think a lot of people realize. It is night and day in terms of animation, sound design, presentation, overall graphically. It is huge. And I was like, man, World War II looks like a kiddie shooter in comparison. But I don't have any fond memories of World War II. I can't remember anything. I remember one story moment. I remember being underwhelmed by the D-Day mission.
Dude,
You're
D-Day
thinking you build it up in your mind.
Super underwhelmed me.
Yeah, this has got to be the greatest Call of Duty mission of all time. And because we hadn't played anything quite like it since, I know Call of Duty 2 had, I think it's Omaha Beach.
Yeah, maybe it was Utah. They climbed the cliffs. It wasn't the
exactly.
actual,
it was the other
Normandy
beach. And I know
landing.
Frontline's Medal of Honor had traditional D-Day, but they they kind of dropped the ball in that a bit.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even say that. It isn't that it was bad. It's just underwhelming because it's almost exactly what you expected to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had all.
I wanted like Saving Private Ryan levels of like impact from that mission, and it was just like, I swear you were on the beach for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, you bust through the fence and you get behind the bunker and you're just kind of in the trenches after that. So
yeah.
Anyway, Black Ops Cold War is looking pretty cool. Can't wait to play it, and I know we'll see some multiplayer very soon, so that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to talk about the Doom Eternal DLC? Anything
I guess so.
For a little bit.
I'd like to play it. I'll just squeeze it in at some point because I love Eternal. It's one of my favorite games of the year by far.
I got the Seasons Pass with the addition of the game I got. So, I mean, I would probably hop in anyways, but knowing that I already have it, then I'm for sure going to download it.
Yeah.
So
anything compelling from the trailer? It looks fun. Like you're fighting some big things.
Yeah. It just looks like more Doom. So I'm
I'm down for more Doom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could get my muscle memory back from that game because you get that loop of not only using all your weapons on every respective enemy, but utilizing your chainsaw, your flame belch, of course, glory kills. I mean, that loop is like very much muscle memory when you're in the heat of fighting like 20 demons at once.
Yeah.
So, and then the teased bit, you fight 2 marauders. It finally clicked for me. I kind of compared to Preston saying the combat in Sekiro clicking for him. Finally fighting marauders when I was doing the master levels before I stopped playing, it clicked for me how to really deal with those guys. And a lot of it was because a couple of guys on Twitter and YouTube kind of posted GIFs and like the combo to take them out. And of course, I was always confused because the tutorial tells you keep a mid distance so you can actually get them to swing at you and you can attack them. I think that's a lie. The closer you are, the better, because then they'll always attack. I was trying to like keep a mid range and all they do is just throw their dog at you or throw those waves of energy at you. But if you're right in their face, they'll immediately attack you. And I think the combo is, I know it's not called the Gauss Cannon in Eternal, but whatever that equivalent weapon is, you Gauss them, you switch to Super Shotgun, and just, it's like the 1-2 punch quickly. Every time they attack, you'll take them out in like 3 or 4 hits after that. Mm-hmm. So fighting 2 of them will be interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we never fight 2 of them? I thought there might have been a moment where we did.
I don't think so in the original game.
Yeah, there's only ever one. I mean, of course, they were total bastards when you have...
They're the worst.
all the other enemies attacking you at the same time, but...
They're just sprinting at you. They're so fast.
And it's funny, the Marauder isn't so much my problem, it's the dog that chases you, because they really put a hindrance on what you're doing.
Yeah. Because at the same time, that dog's coming at you, and they're sprinting at you too. So you can't deal with both at the same time.
Yeah, that game is so good. Loved it.
Yeah.
I guess they kind of canceled the official soundtrack because ever since the Mick Gordon debacle came out, they kind of released the unfinished version, the quote unquote unfinished version, and they've still never publicly released the album on streaming or anything. So my hope is that Mick's been behind the scenes actually finishing this thing in his own time, and they'll eventually put it out. So. I mean, you can listen to the version they have, and like, of course, some of his tracks are on there, but the other guy that mixed, it's not bad. It just isn't Mick Gordon quality, so it's not the same.
Yeah, I know he's working on a new game right now. Crap, what is it? Oh man, that's gonna drive me.
Couldn't
crazy.
tell you. Is it a shooter?
No, it's like a weird game. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, you looked that up, Jacob. What do you want to jump to next?
Let me look at.
You want to just talk about World of Warcraft?
Yeah, sure. I can mention that real quick. So for WoW, we got obviously the new expansion's coming out. That was announced. It is for October 27th, which was exactly 2 months away from when the conference happened. So that was cool. So which presumes they usually do a month, like the pre-patch is basically they put in the new systems for all the classes and they make a few like changes to leveling every expansion. So they'll do that about a month before the expansion launches. So that'll be September 27th, we imagine, or somewhere in that little bubble there. And besides that, obviously the campaign, or not the campaign, the expansion is coming. Shadowlands, there's going to be these new covenants, which are going to completely change how you play the game. You're going to sort of be accepted into one of these covenants. They're going to give you a new spell, a new like sort of headquarters, like a hub base to hang out with other people in your covenant. There's going to be unique abilities for that covenant. There's going to be unique mounts, armor sets, yada yada, all that stuff. So that'll be exciting to sort of make a player choice in a game that'll sort of have these RPG elements and have some impact on the story of whatever you choose. So I'm excited about that. And obviously it's a new expansion, so it's going to be fun to have new raids, new dungeons, a new leveling experience, and a new, land to go explore in the vast world of WoW. So I'm really excited about that. And obviously we also got a animation, which is they always do at Gamescom every year, or at least when the new expansions are coming out. So we got this first one. There's going to be 3 other ones, and I'm not going to really go into detail about it because a lot of people probably don't know what a lot of it's about. But I enjoyed it. It was one of my more favorite cinematics that they've done, and yeah, I'm just really hyped. I can't wait. Like, it's coming out like a little bit before Cyberpunk, like not even a month before. So I'm kind of like stressing out because all I want to do is play that, but I know all I want to do is also play Cyberpunk. So I'm gonna have like an interesting dilemma when Cyberpunk comes out. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. But Preston, did you find what you were looking for?
I did. It was Atomic Heart.
Oh,
I don't know if he's doing the whole soundtrack for that game, but I know he did something for that game.
Wow, that's kind of a big deal. They got Mick Gordon to do that.
I'm very excited.
That's an indie game, isn't it?
It
looks very indie to me. Isn't it a Russian developer that's working on it?
Yes.
Okay. It does look very interesting.
It looks very AAA, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It looks very beautiful.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, they're an indie studio.
Oh yeah, I know they're an indie studio, but it definitely doesn't look like a.
Yeah, the quality doesn't reflect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in our notes here, I didn't like list every announcement.
It's got gnarly motion blur though, and I'm actually someone who appreciates very light motion blur, but that game is like disorienting how motion blurred it was. The latest demo I saw.
Gotcha.
But I am excited to see more of that.
Yeah, the developer is Mundafish for that game. I don't know who's publishing it. I know it's coming to consoles and stuff. So
it reminds me much of like a BioShock or Fallout type world.
Yes.
That you're running around. Really disturbing creatures they've shown off too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely pumped for that.
All right, what were we on? I had to add something to our notes a second ago. You already talked about WoW, Jacob?
Yeah, I just did.
Cool.
Oh, how about Little Nightmares 2? Garrett, did you see?
Yeah, I'll be brief with this. I had totally forgotten the sequel's coming. Really enjoyed the first game. We actually have an entire walkthrough of just me playing solo of that game. Something about it just really grabbed me. I've always enjoyed like Halloween-inspired, dark, gothic, creepy content my whole life, whether it's movies or TV shows and games, of course. And that game just like the art style, like, again, I'm going on about the art style, like really grabbed me initially. And reminded me much of Little Nightmares, Inside and Limbo. Similar aspects, puzzle-based, physics-based puzzles to solve throughout the world. And a lot of creepy moments, too, when those big creatures start chasing you around. And Little Nightmares 2 looks far creepier than the first one. And I can't remember the character's name. It's not 11. It's a number or something, like 11 from Stranger Things. But the ending of that game was a big surprise. It was a really cool twist. So that's why I'm very intrigued to see how this one, if it's a continuation or if it's a prequel or what, because the ending to the first game is pretty wild. So I think it's cool that it's co-op too. So I'm very excited for that. Looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. And I if you liked games like Inside or Limbo, if you haven't played either, and either of those have ever remotely intrigued you, I'm sure you'd like Little Nightmares. It also has a really good score. Awesome soundtrack. So
very cool.
Aside from that, looks like we have Rift Apart left on here.
Yeah, there were other announcements, but these were the ones that stood out to me.
The biggins.
So if there is other things you guys want to talk about, please bring them up. But yeah, we can talk about Ratchet and Clank.
Of course, this is the PS5 gameplay that we saw at the PlayStation 5 reveal event, but this was the uncut version. My goodness, does it look incredible, dude.
Yeah.
I know everyone said it about the first one. This looks like a Pixar movie. I mean, this is like exactly like a Pixar movie. It is just gorgeous to behold. My high hope is that they have a 60 FPS performance mode.
They do.
I never had a problem with.
They already said they do. Yeah.
Oh, God bless them, dude. Because the first one is amazing at 30 FPS locked. It's very good. Never had any problems, no hiccups. But I always wondered, I'm like, how gorgeous would this be if all these bolts flying around were at 60 FPS? It'd be incredible. So,
how many bolts can we get on the screen?
Exactly. But I love of course, just the art style is just so colorful and fun and cartoony, and the enemies looked awesome. The new weapons look like a lot of fun. I'm, of course, intrigued by the story of Ratchet and Clank being separated, and I assume this female Lombax will have a whole new arsenal of weapons and abilities versus Ratchet to give you that, kind of like the dual storylines of how they're going back and forth to really keep it fresh throughout the entirety of the game. And I wonder how she'll really be different from Ratchet versus just their arsenal of weapons. So, because I know that's a big part of Ratchet and Clank. So, of course, the what do you call them? Dimensions or portals you go through. It's a very unique mechanic. I was not aware prior to this demo that you're actually using that to traverse certain parts of maps and navigate these worlds. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to, of course, playing that within the release window of PS5 and just enjoying more Ratchet and Clank. I love the different worlds you go to, and I love the fun, witty humor, the music, the color, the animation. It is just such a joyful experience. And I had the time of my life platinuming Ratchet and Clank on PS4. And I know we've basically beaten you all over the heads at this point. Like, play Ratchet and Clank if you haven't played it. But if you have a PlayStation 4, you've not played Ratchet and Clank. It's a remake of the first one. It's not a remaster, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Complete. Yeah.
Play the remake of Ratchet and Clank on PS4.
It is definitely not a remaster.
Yeah, because it's a little too beautiful to be remastered.
I think it might even be a reimagining. I don't know if it's
yeah.
an exact,
I think it's a reimagining because it came out alongside the movie
That's
as well.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is so much fun. So I am naturally incredibly hyped for the follow up.
Yeah, I think they said this new game, I don't know if you just said this, I was zoning out, but it's a direct sequel to Into the Nexus. Did you just say that?
I don't think they have said that. I know people have been assuming that, but I don't think that's been confirmed.
I swear they said that. I watched like their dev like interview afterwards, after they show the gameplay, and they said something like that. So it's a sequel to one of those like former games. I know that. But they also said that it was going to be releasing like release window for PS5. So it's not going to be coming out like right at release. So I wonder like when this window is going to be. Obviously, maybe before the end of the year. We'll see. I don't know. But
my
it'll
guess
be nice
is
to have
if Morales
early.
is a launch title, my guess is that Ratchet's out a couple months after that, probably turn of the year, maybe February or something.
That'd be a good time.
Maybe March. I'd say March probably at the latest.
Yeah. But yeah.
So
It's
talk about Insomniac. I know they have a big team, but putting in the work between Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank.
They're making sure this console.
And they just make their games are just so much fun.
Mhm.
Like they're one of those developers. I just say overall their games have been excellent. But when I think of Insomniac, I immediately think of just how much fun I have playing their games.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
so excited.
Yeah,
Is there
Jacob,
anything-
I found I can't find the exact developer quote, but
Yeah.
On Games Radar, they're saying that is true. That in an interview they said that. So you're
Yeah.
right.
Is it Into the Nexus?
Yes.
Okay. Couple more questions for you guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up that we haven't already talked about before we move on?
There were a few things in Gamescom that came up that like look cool to me, but I think for the most part, everything that was shown we've talked about before.
Okay.
You know,
Awesome.
nothing really new or
And
crazy was dropped.
Last question is a question from SpicyBoy174 on Discord, and he asked us, what was everyone's favorite and least favorite trailer from Gamescom, and why? We probably could have opened with this, but I just now remembered that he wrote in. So, what was y'all's favorite thing that you saw? Doesn't have to be a trailer.
Ratchet was my favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ratchet for me too.
Obviously, for me, it was WoW, but I did love seeing Ratchet and Clank too. Least favorite, probably. I enjoyed
probably
seeing, like,
Dragon Age, even though
Yeah,
I am
that's what I was
interested.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Like it
same
was
here.
nice seeing like a little update, I guess, but we didn't really see much. Was it necessary?
It reminds me of the Andromeda stuff when they revealed Andromeda, like showing us the studio diary video. I'm like, this does nothing for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate dev insight and interviews and like a documentary style video diary that really focuses heavily on gameplay in particular. And of course, after the fact, if it's a game I love hearing the story of development. That's actually been like the contributions I've made to the games industry have my heart has been in those stories in particular. Whenever I have a chance to interview developers, that is by far my favorite. Because you get to hear like why they love what they're working on, their intention behind it. And the passion there is just really cool to see. So it just reminds me of passions I have in my life and the things I love to do. It's just cool to see other people express that in what they do, especially with video games, which I love. So not to hate on the Dragon Age stuff or Andromeda at the time, those video diaries, but this one could have used a little more personally.
Yeah. Very cool.
We onward to Halo Infinite?
I think we have a story about Call of Duty first.
Did we? I thought we covered everything Call of Duty.
No, this is just a
stupid
little...
prices. Who cares?
Whoa, dude. This is important news, okay? I worked really hard on this story. But do you guys have any thoughts on this pricing for the new Call of Duty game? The real thing that stands out is the cross-gen bundle for $69.99. I know we've talked about it in the past of, what was it? What's the new NBA game that's going to be $70 on the new consoles, I think?
Yeah.
I don't quite remember which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2K21.
Yeah, but there might have been something else. I'm having trouble remembering. But do you guys think this is okay? Are you cool with this? Do you have any thoughts before we move on to Halo?
Yes, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm
mean, if
getting
it
on a
was, like,
PC anyways.
$30 more, maybe, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's $10, man. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
If you can afford a $60 game, what's $10 more?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And you get access to it on both consoles.
I would draw the line at $20. I'd be like, all right, that's a little excessive to just have cross-gen access.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm just more interested in seeing if next gen games are just going to eventually just be 70 across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We'll see.
It'd be nice
happens.
too. I mean, Call of Duty's been doing 60 FPS since the dawn of time. So if they could be like, hey, on next gen, the next gen version, you can play 120. That's a capability or something.
Yeah.
Like some sort of bonus to owning it on both generations would be nice.
Oh yeah, one question I had, Garrett. Did they say anything about this pricing at your little?
They did not. No, they didn't mention it.
Okay.
So
cool. All right. Well, let's move on to Halo.
Halo. This is both hilarious, disturbing, and exciting news all at the same time.
Yes.
So the exciting news is that Joseph Staten, I knew he was involved with Halo back in the day, but I didn't understand to what extent. And I actually had the privilege of interviewing Joseph Staten when I previewed Crackdown 2 or 3. When I was at the preview event for that, he was not game director. He was something else. He's involved. He was heavily involved to some extent. But when it was funny, I got to this preview event before even the developers got there. I just got there extra early. So I'm waiting outside this building where we're supposed to meet. And he's the second guy to get there. And he walks up to me. I was like, I recognize you. He's like, I'm Joseph Staten. I was like, I know I've seen you somewhere before. He's like, oh, you've probably seen me in like interviews or something. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And later that day, I got to interview him about Crackdown 2. And as we know, Crackdown 3, and as we know, that game totally sucks for the most part. But I didn't realize that he was heavily involved in every Bungie Halo title. And 1 through 3, he was one of the main writers, and he directed a lot of the cinematic content as well. So he has quite a history with Halo in particular, Bungie Halo. And it sounds like 343's called him in to save the day on whatever they're doing with their campaign. And what's kind of shocking about this is that they're announcing this after they've revealed the game. And it almost sounds like they're bringing him in to sort of direct the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's playing facilitator or if he's playing the guy who's meant to restructure it from the ground up. I don't know. But I think this, and Preston let me know, I didn't even see this part, that we knew about the outsourcing to other studios. Apparently they're hiring an entire other studio to contribute to this. So that either means they're trying to fast track it to get it out as soon as possible, or they're kind of scrapping what they have and sort of starting over again. I don't know. But I think what this ultimately says is that this game is not coming anytime soon. I know they said the goal is next year, but it may be December 29th, 2021 at this point for all we know. But the good news is that Joseph Staten has a heart and passion for Halo. He has an amazing history of the series. So if anything, I'm sure he will definitely contribute positively to whatever they're doing with Infinite. At this point, this game just sounds like a total dumpster fire to me.
Yeah.
But
in addition to Staten, they also brought on Pierre Heinz from the publishing team on the Master Chief Collection. He's going to be looking over the free-to-play multiplayer experience. So
that makes
not
sense
only
too.
are they bringing
really,
him in, but they brought in a guy to look over the multiplayer too. So what does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, good news about that as well is that I don't know how long he's been in that role with MCC, but as we know, MCC launched horrifically, and it has since come a very long way and is now in an amazing place. Mm-hmm. So that if he was the guy who really led the team in correcting all the errors of that game initially and bringing it to the place it is today, then that's great news for Infinite.
Yeah.
And Preston and I talked about this last night. And I mean, this was evident even before they released or revealed Infinite, but this truly has got to be 343's last stand and last chance with the Halo franchise, because I've said this 100 times, won't dwell on it, but there have been great things about their games, but there have also been a lot of negative aspects, and they've not entirely won over the Halo fan base. And in their defense, they're not Bungie. And of course, I want them to do their own thing, but they have not nailed a Halo game yet.
Yeah.
And they've had the franchise since when? Since 2008, basically. They started developing Halo 4 shortly after a Reach, I guess. And Reach was a couple years after Halo 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2009.
Okay.
Whenever it was, they've had it for a long time. So
I mean, I've read, like I told you yesterday, they've had it just about as long as Bungie had it.
Yeah. I wonder if Bungie would ever go back to developing Halo again.
I don't know.
Like, I wonder if 343 does their run and Bungie's like, you know what? We've had our fill of Destiny. It's time to go back to Halo.
I know Bungie has investments from like it might be Tencent. It's some Chinese company that they gave them a lot of money to make a new IP. So I don't know what that is. I would imagine that's what they're working on next. But I would assume that's more likely than them going back to Microsoft to make Halo. But it would be interesting to see Bungie go do that. Yeah, see what they would make nowadays.
I'm sure they'd enjoy it more than it seems like they hated working with Activision, but I never have heard Bungie or really any other Xbox first party studio complain about being under the umbrella of Microsoft. So
yeah. The only negative thing that I've heard about Microsoft is Jason Schreier coming out and saying like 343 or Microsoft just in general uses a lot of contracting work to, make their games, and then like their contracts will like end, and then they'll have to get new people to work on the same game, and it's just a mess of tons of people trying to work on the same product. Just a bunch of different ideas all amalgamating into something. So I don't know. I haven't looked too much into that. It's just something I saw on Twitter. But seems like it's a mess over there.
Well, more power to them. I hope they prevail, and I hope it's great. I'm not even remotely anticipating the game anymore. I've basically put it out of sight, out of mind until I saw the Joseph Staten announcement. So I will probably not give much thought to this until we see something substantial, which will be a while. So
there's been a news story about it every week since it was shown. I don't feel like
I haven't been on social media though. I haven't seen anything. So
yeah, there's always been.
I only heard about this through a YouTube video because I've been on YouTube. I just haven't been on like Twitter or Instagram or anything. So yeah. Is that all of our news this week?
I think we have
Cyberpunk.
More.
We got Cyberpunk.
1, 2, 4. Sorry, I'm doing time codes. Hope you'll appreciate that.
Oh, dude. Thank you. I hope they're accurate. You've been off by 20 or 30 minutes in the past.
Well, they're like, they're within reason. You might need to line them up better.
It'll help me scrub through it a bit faster. I appreciate that, Jacob.
I'm doing my best.
Cyberpunk 2077 will have free DLC and alongside paid expansions, which is very much similar to the Witcher 3, which is great. Love that. And that's what's cool about the Witcher 3 free DLC is that all of it were, if it wasn't just purely cosmetic, there were a lot of cool. I think my favorite free DLC in Witcher 3 were all the new death animations they added. Those were so cool. So little things like that I greatly appreciate, and it doesn't surprise me at all that extensive expansions, if I can say it like that. The larger expansions akin to Blood and Wine and
Heartstone.
What was the other
Hearts
one?
of Stone or something.
Heart of Stone.
Yeah.
Dude, those, Blood and both of them are freaking incredible, especially Blood and Wine. So just to know that, once we have Cyberpunk and are getting through it and stuff, to know we have presumably stuff like that on the horizon is just super exciting.
I agree. Yeah, this is just like Witcher. This wasn't like a shocker to me, but it was just cool to see that they're still going to be doing this. Hopefully we'll get another heartfelt letter that they appreciate us buying the product again. I enjoy
I'm
that
sure we
letter
will.
a lot.
Definitely.
But yeah, CD Projekt Red continues to set the standard for DLC and free updates. Like no one's ever going to complain about free updates, and they do a lot of them for some reason. I guess they want to keep us happy or something. It's weird, but it's definitely good things. So obviously all of us are really excited for that game.
There we go.
Oh, we do actually have another story.
Did you? I don't know if I want to read through this. I read through it and I was just bored.
Okay.
So I say we just skip it.
Let's just skip it then.
AskIOG. AskIOG is the part of the show where we answer your questions submitted through any of our socials at ItsObviousGaming, the AskIOG section of our Discord channel, or email to us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. And if you want your question read live on the show, always include the hashtag AskIOG. Question 1 comes from Nolan, who's been on this podcast with us before. And we've kind of covered this, but we'll get through it. He says, with the first official Batman trailer here, I got to say it's got me excited. What's your take on the villains taking a, quote, darker look compared to when they made them more fun and colorful? I personally love it and like that they're making the characters more real than comic-like. Love you guys. Hope it's been a great week and can't wait to chat again soon. I think more so than just the look themselves, I think the way they're portraying these characters in terms of like the characters themselves, not so much even just their appearance, which their appearance does reflect this, but they've grounded them to the point where Riddler, as far as I'm aware, seems to be more like a serial killer that spells out riddles for Batman to solve a mystery, which I think is cool. Yeah. And I think Preston and I talked about this. I think I talked to Zach about this, but it reminds me of Seven, and we're not the only ones to say this, but Seven. I think Fincher directed that. It reminds me sort of Zodiac, which Fincher also directed. I can't remember if he did both of them. But the mystery serial killer aspect of this movie. And another theory is that, of course, we're exploring a Batman who is clearly psychologically damaged. And he's sort of figuring out his way to combat the criminals and the corruption of Gotham City. And clearly we can see he's filled with rage when he beats down that guy in that scene in the trailer. And there's a theory floating around that one of the main villains, aside from just his rogues gallery, will be his own psyche. That he sort of has mental breakdowns throughout the movie and has visions and stuff of this like demonic entity that lives within. It's like a demonic bat. There's a comic line. Someone had discussed it. I never had actually heard of the comic before. It was Jake Baldino's video from Because Video Games. His channel is called Because Video Games. If you're interested, he talks about his thoughts in the trailer. And he mentions that there's a comic that explores that aspect. But as Nolan said, I agree. I think the dark, grounded approach is cool. We've had a taste of that with Nolan's series, but this seems to be a stylized, grounded take where we have the very gothic, dark architecture of Europe in the movie. And of course, the characters' costumes look grounded, but also like Batman looks grounded, but he also looks kind of stylized too. Yeah. So one of my favorite aspects, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, I love that he's literally wearing combat boots with like armored plates over them. I'm like, that is so cool. I love that. So, and I think as far as I'm aware, I think we're getting 2 bat suits in this movie.
Oh, really?
So whether that suit he's wearing in the trailer is his final suit for the movie, if he has one before that, like his year 1 suit versus his year 2 suit, or if he goes from his year 2 suit to something new by the end. I'm sure we'll get something similar for Catwoman, as we know she evolves into the Catwoman we know by the end of the movie. And according to Matt Reeves, the Riddler, Batman, Catwoman, seemingly every character in this movie are what the word he uses are iterations you have not experienced before. So, I mean, I could talk about the Batman trailer for hours. Yeah. Because I'm just so excited to see this portrayal, and I'm a huge fan of Robert Pattinson. And I can't wait to see more. So.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of, because like you said, we've seen all these villains so many times. So it's nice when like directors can find a way, or writers can find a way to make these characters different, but still, keep them true to the nature of the characters that were created. So I'm definitely really excited to see this more grounded, dark take on these characters, especially the Riddler. I feel like the Riddler never, like he has. Do we have any good Riddler movies? Like, wait, wasn't Jim Carrey the Riddler? And
what's funny about Batman Forever? Every villain in that movie is basically the Joker. Like Two-Face and the Riddler act wacky and ridiculous. Like they're the exact same character with different looks. So
Jim Carrey does a good Riddler, by the way. I enjoy
it's a very entertaining performance. I mean, that movie is endlessly entertaining to me.
Yeah.
So, but as we know, we have a taste of Paul Dano's Riddler, and he seems to be very sinister. And what I told Zach is what's important to me about the Riddler in this movie is that one problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem, one concern I have is that the riddle, well, I guess it's fair because we have frames of it and people can analyze it for hours on end, but people have already solved the riddle in the card that he leaves for Batman at the start of the trailer. And my hope as an audience member, and this is how every mystery film is a success, is when the audience is actively solving the mystery along with the character versus figuring it out beforehand, or it kind of just being spoon-fed to you, or
what if they're
like they hold your hand the whole movie. Because part of the fun of the mystery is that you're on the same level with the character, so you're kind of really experiencing it with them. And you want to have that sense of discovery and satisfaction as well, not really have it just very clearly presented to you as what makes a successful mystery film.
Sure.
So I hope the writing supports that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think like they threw out that coat to sort of throw people off? Maybe something else is going to happen that they didn't expect. I mean, I don't know what the quote is. I don't know what people
as
know.
We know at the end of the trailer, it sounds like it's Riddler speaking to Bruce Wayne or Batman. We don't know for sure, but it sounds like he's saying to Batman, he's like, you're a part of this, and Robert Pattinson says, how am I a part of this? So the assumption is that his family had something to do with whatever this story is about.
Which I want to see.
Which I've
that
always
story.
loved. I like the idea that Batman has a corrupt family.
Yeah. I heard you talking about that last week, and that really compelled me. Like, I want that. I'd really love to see that.
So it further adds to his psychological madness. Like I've always liked to think that he is a total psycho. He's just not a killer. He wants to stop crime, but he's just as crazy as his rogues gallery.
Sure.
So I love that. And I also like that I love that he's supposedly considered still a myth. Like he's obviously well known among the police at this point, based on the trailer, but the general Gotham public still either regard him as a myth or like a creature. I've always loved when no one knows, especially the public doesn't know for sure whether or not Batman is human or what he is or what his motivations are. And one of my favorite aspects of Batman v Superman is when those cops raid that like prostitution house or whatever that place was. And all those women are horrified that Batman's been in there and like hearing the screams. And they basically call him the demon, like the demon's still here. I think that's so cool. So I like when Batman strikes fear into his villains and even like the general public. I think it's cool when they're scared of Batman. And you can see that no one's talking about this character in particular, but when he beats down that guy in the trailer and it cuts back to that group, one guy's filming on his phone, another guy's look concerned, but one kid is basically crying. He's so scared after Batman punches that guy to death. So I love that this is meant to be, I almost hope this has horror elements. Like I hope there are like some scenes that are actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Like of the Batman or just in general?
Yeah. I'm hoping they can kind of scare us with Robert Pattinson somehow.
Yeah.
Even though we know like who Batman is and why he does what he does. Like I would hope there are some scenes that kind of freak us out. I think it'd be a great way to set the tone for the movie is if it opens with him stealthily taking out some guys, but it isn't traditional like, oh, someone got zip tied up, but it has some sort of like horror element to it, the way it's shot and sound design and everything.
Yeah.
So put us in the shoes of the villain to really set the tone for this Batman. So I've also been intrigued by an idea of either a TV show or a movie exploring the perspective of a main villain or a criminal who has to deal with Batman, and you like never actually get to see Batman up close. They'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I didn't expect to talk about it that much. Like I said, I could talk about Batman for hours. But
fine,
Nolan,
dude.
thanks for writing in, man. We love you to bits as well. Matty G writes in and says, your comments on having 2 studios work on DC games had me thinking, what other franchises would you like to see a rotating studio system on? Beyond the DC Batman franchise, like the Call of Duty franchise would work for this example well. Well, now that we have that with Call of Duty, as we know, what's another franchise you guys would like to see on a rotating cycle? Obviously, inherently, we have them annually at that point, or close to it. What else would stick out for you guys? We've seen kind of success with that with Fallout. It was shared with Obsidian, between Obsidian and Bethesda. Granted, that was like a one-off for them, but that was a major success.
Yeah, I mean, we have like examples like Rockstar, like they've rotated between, well, maybe not necessarily like one after the other. Like, so it was like Red Dead, then GTA, then Red Dead.
I think he means like a single franchise
studios
developed by different studios.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like we've seen it with
WB
Assassin's
Montreal working on
Creed, kinda, and didn't work out too good.
Yeah.
What was another one? I don't know. I can't really.
There are very few successes with this. I mean,
yeah,
Call of Duty's been a success for a long time. I'd say for the most part, DC has been a success, but in all fairness, Montreal's only done Origins versus Rocksteady's trilogy. So I'd say the jury is kind of still out on whether or not that's a good thing for the DC franchise. But I think the best hope we have is that Gotham Knights is not a part of the Arkham universe, which gives WB Montreal full reign over what they want to do, which before they were sort of hampered by what Rocksteady had established. So I have high hopes for Montreal and Gotham Knights because of that. But I'm trying to think of any other like successful stories aside from the one-off of Bethesda with Fallout 3 and then Fallout New Vegas. I'm trying to think of a franchise that it makes sense to have that.
I'm trying to think like I would like something like that for Spider-Man. Like I know just Insomniac makes Spider-Man, but if they could like sort of have one studio doing Peter Parker and another one doing Miles Morales, that could be really cool. Just have like 2 different, games existing in the same universe, just coexisting, telling different stories. Maybe you would want those games to more like interchange. Maybe you wouldn't necessarily want them to be 2 separate products for multiple entries.
Let's get a Naughty Dog and Insomniac going back and forth on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Man, I cannot wait to see what Naughty Dog does next.
This is tough. I don't know.
You know what? You know what I think this works perfect for? I think a studio that is capable of taking the reins of Uncharted needs to tackle Uncharted. I think Naughty Dog's time is gone with Uncharted. I wouldn't be opposed to them doing another one, but I think
I'm pretty sure there's already a studio making an Uncharted.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I think Uncharted makes the most sense for me.
I think I would like to see something like this from some FromSoft studios. I would love to see like multiple Dark Souls games. I know they've said that they're kind of moving on from Dark Souls. They want to do other things, but they've sort of
Elden Ring's their latest, right? Elden Ring's from Software.
I
get so confused because so many developers have adopted that style of gameplay. I get confused on who's who at this point.
Yeah, it works. Like what was that game that just came out? That's like that. It's Mortal Shell. Yeah, which looks kind of janky. People have been sort of negative on that one, but I don't
know why I haven't felt compelled to play that. I don't know why. I think it's because you just jump in and out of shells, which I hear is kind of cool.
That. I think that's cool. Like it's
definitely
different,
unique, but something about that doesn't draw me in. I don't know why.
Yeah, I've heard the game's not very long either. It's rather short. So like I've heard like something like 5 hours
from what
or
I've
something.
seen.
But like if we could have like multiple, like again, it's just from software making these, from what I know. But if they had multiple teams, different studios creating different Dark Souls games, because I always love those games. I've played all of them except Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2. Yeah, because I played the remaster for a little bit, not very long. I should get back to it. But anytime that I play any of those games, it's always fun to go through them. It's sort of like a personal challenge to see if I can get through them. So, yeah.
You interested in Mortal Shell at all?
Not really.
That's what we were just talking about. I might
try it.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No worries.
I might.
I was looking up the Uncharted thing.
Did you find it?
I did see. I've mainly heard it from Colin Moriarty on his podcast, and there's a studio that's working on like a third-person action adventure game that I don't even know if that studio is named yet.
Yeah.
And that's what people are speculating, that they're making another Uncharted game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I'd be more likely to hold out hope for like the Demon Souls remaster or Elden Ring as opposed to like, what was it, Code Vein? I think was like the anime Souls-like game, or Mortal Shell. Those don't necessarily impress me that much. Mortal Shell looks kind of cool though. But
yeah,
I just need to look more into it.
Great name. You make a great band name too.
Yeah, it's really cool. You play as like a spirit that takes on these beings, and that's how you like change your class and stuff. Is you can go in like inhabit them.
Yeah, I was watching someone play the beta before it came out, and you start out as like this like corpse, like you're just like this frail creature. Then you like sort of walk towards this set of armor, and you inhabit it, and then you go to the first boss in that suit. It's pretty cool. But yeah,
what was I just thinking? I can't remember. It was one of my favorite band names of all time is Mortal Treason. They're not a great metal band, but something about that name just sounds so cool to me. Mortal Treason. Mortal Shell sounds cool. Anyway, I feel like we didn't give a really definitive answer for Maddie. I think my answer is probably the Uncharted one. But I'm trying to think of any other franchise. I mean, you could do it with racing franchises like Forza. Could be, and Forza is basically annual. They do Horizon, and then they do the main line.
I think Uncharted is a fantastic one to do games on the level of like Lost Legacy.
Exactly.
Yearly. I think that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. If you have two studios that have at least 2 years in between, or 2 years to work on their game, I don't feel like you can make a game of the quality of Lost Legacy in a year at all. So you would have to have at least 2 to 3 years, bare minimum. But I would love more Uncharted adventures because those games are just downright fun. And I think the real challenge would be making compelling characters with each iteration, because you can get away with that in Call of Duty because the characters are, with the exception of Black Ops and a couple of other campaigns, it's more so about the action and plot more so than it is the characters. Which is, I think that's why Black Ops stood out to me initially, is because it is so focused on the characters. And Uncharted, as we know, has great characters. So that would be the challenge. Anyone can, I wouldn't say anyone, but you can make an amazing action-packed, set-piece filled, great shooting mechanics action game all day with beautiful environments. But if your characters fall flat, it doesn't have the same power that Uncharted has. So That'd be the challenge, but I had to pick a singular franchise that have multiple studios kind of rotating. It'd be that. Carlos Perez Skates writes in and says, "When can we expect the taco talk with all the boys can meet up and take it to go and eat at someone's house? Trying to hear some taco stories." That'd be a fun little vlog. We could crank that out in an afternoon probably. I'd like for Zach to be there, but Zach's preoccupied with working full time and being married and having a young son to raise. So it'd be hard to get him out to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But maybe we could go to him, take a road trip one weekend and do a big taco talk episode.
I want to have Taco Bell with you guys so bad. It's been so long.
Well, Jacob, every time I ask you, I guess that's not fair. For a long time, I asked you, every Let's Play, every podcast we do, you'd be like, no, I had it last night. It was always, I've had it last night with you.
I did have it a lot back then.
We had it about a month ago together, which is great.
Yeah, we did.
It has been so freaking... Garrett, I think the last time me and you ate, when you came to my house,
yep,
was the last time I had it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't get it as often as I used to. I'll get it every couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I might go once a month.
I don't eat fast food ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have pizza. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I might
Which
go.
I guess that might be fast food. I guess that's considered fast food.
Yeah.
But besides that, nothing.
I might go maybe once a week now. Maybe. Yes, Carlos.
G4 King Rob
we
writes
should
in
do
and
it.
says, "What games from this generation have you been most disappointed in? How could they have been improved? Are there any games with which you would have been pleasantly surprised? With which you have been pleasantly surprised?" That's a pretty loaded question. One I want to spend more time with. I'll be brief for now. I think we should bring that back up at our Game of the Year discussion later this year. I'm trying to think just very quickly a game that has truly disappointed me.
I always bring this one up.
I know there's been something.
No Man's Sky is the one I always bring up. Like, I wish that game would have had just more to it. Like, it was great in the sense where you could go to all these different planets and no one had been there before, and you can make it your own. But you also couldn't. All you could really do was gather resources. You weren't at that point when the game launched. There wasn't nearly as many stuff to do as there is now, and I acknowledge that. Like, I'm sure the game's a lot of fun to play right now because you can build these bases. You can craft ships. I'm pretty sure. Like, you can make so many stuff. You can go do so many things now, and yeah, like it just seems like they've added a lot of good updates to the game, and a lot of people enjoy the game now because of those reasons. But for me, like, it really just killed all the hype for the game when it came out. Like, we always make fun of what's his name, the creative director for No Man's Sky, Sean Layden. No, not Sean Layden.
From Hello Games.
Sean Murray. Thank you. Yeah, but like he had all these interviews where he was just making all these promises and none of them came to light. But yeah, that's sort of mine. I want to think of another one though.
Offhand, that I think consistently talked about being disappointed in was Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
just because I'm a massive fan of the rebooted series. I think Rise, and that's the thing. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a fine game, but like Rise was such an improvement on the first one, and Shadow just did nothing else. Like, all the things they implemented was like, oh man, you can climb on like surfaces that are at a angle now. Like, oh, cool. Like, oh, you can cover your face in mud. That's cool. Yeah, that's like pretty much it for the most part. So pretty disappointed in that. Still a fine game, but definitely not as good as I had hoped. And because of that, we get the Avengers now. Isn't that cool?
Yay. Avengers is gonna downright suck. I'm pretty confident.
Wow.
I'm pretty confident the reviews will be.
It has no chance.
I'm no longer reviewing that. I wanted to share that. I know previously in this podcast I may have mentioned that I was reviewing it for COG. I'm no longer doing that. So
good for you.
It will not be my thoughts you hear from them, at least.
Excellent.
I'm gonna get it so I can talk about it.
Yeah, I've had my fill of beta, man. I've had enough of that. So.
I haven't been disappointed in a whole lot of games. I'm really not disappointed by a lot of things because I don't buy them if I'm disappointed.
My biggest surprise, just to get it out of the way, is Sekiro. Because I expected it to be good, but I freaking love that game. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Bloodborne. I love the Dark Souls series, but like Sekiro, I enjoyed that game like more than I ever thought I would enjoy it. So that was probably the biggest surprise to me, especially for like my feelings going into that game, where like I don't think I've ever been more frustrated at a game, and just that click for me. I just did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
So
this will be. It's not fair to say now. I think I can't say the most disappointing game I've played, but the most disappointing game I've seen this generation has been Halo Infinite so far. So obviously that may not be at all what it is now when it releases, but so far that's been the most disappointing thing I've seen. And it's difficult for me to say what has been most surprising and most disappointing, because I almost always know whether or not I'm going to like a game, because I look into it enough to just have that feeling.
Yeah.
I haven't picked up a single game this generation from what I can recall and been like, wow, this is surprisingly bad. And I talked about Avengers. I mean, I haven't played the full thing, but even before I played the beta, I could tell this game, it didn't look that good. It looked kind of janky, and it didn't look very inspired. And for the most part, it lived up to those presumptions.
This one might be a little strange.
Those reviews are coming, and probably in the coming weeks. So
it's common knowledge that I put off playing Doom for many years after it came out, and this is my example. Both Doom and Doom Eternal, less so with Doom Eternal, but I sort of like developed this thought in my head that I didn't think that I would enjoy Bethesda shooters. Because I played Wolfenstein in the past, like the new ones that came out on the current gen consoles. And I was like, these are fine, but it's sort of kind of like boring. I'm just sort of doing the same thing. But then I remember, like, eventually I put Doom in because people, like, I was streaming at the time. People, like, told me I need to play this. And obviously you two are telling me every single week on the podcast, you need to play this game. It's so good. So eventually I bit the bullet, and I was shocked at how much, because, like, I had watched people play it in the past and it looked fine, looks fun. It's just running around really quickly shooting demons, and, it's that whole loop. And then, like, I actually played it for myself, and I realized how truly fun it actually was. And then with the music playing at the same time as you're just causing absolute havoc in these spaces with all these demons, it's really satisfying. So, I was just really pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed that game.
I don't think I have anything else to add. I was going to say, Rob, that we'll probably have this exact same conversation far more in depth when Game of the Year comes up, because prior to that episode every year, I always like really think hard about everything, especially now that this is not only Game of the Year, but like Game of the Generation discussion as well. I think it'd be fun to make those two separate episodes. Like, we'll have Game of the Generation where we really hunker down in the generation in its entirety, and of course, just the 2020 Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So those will be two fun episodes we'll get to.
Oh, boy.
What do we got? Big Colt says, I recently had diarrhea in the final round of Fall Guys and had to drop the controller and forfeit my crown. Has an emergency poop ever impacted an important gaming or non-gaming moment in your life? Absolutely. I have this weird, I think we've been doing this podcast so long, I have this muscle memory bodily reaction to podcasting that by the tail end of every episode, I got to dump my brains out. And I'm one of those guys, I have like pretty poor bowels. I guess I don't digest food very well, because I don't go every day, to be perfectly honest, which really disturbs me. And I drink a ton of water. I eat relatively healthily on a regular basis. I eat a fair amount of fiber, not too much fiber. And you got to think, like, what's the deal here? But a natural laxative for me is podcasting. I don't know why. I think it's just because, I don't know if you guys have that feeling if you get excited about something to make you want to poop sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like if I walk into an unfinished house for some reason, I got to dump my brains out. I don't know why. I have these weird triggers that'll help me poop. They're natural bodily reactions that work as a laxative for me. One of them is podcasting. So I think going forward, when I'm concerned about not relieving my bowels or having a bowel movement, I should just pick up a microphone and pretend like I'm podcasting. Just crap my pants in the chair and call it a day.
My laxative is 2 cups of coffee. Takes 2.
Yep. See, that didn't even do it for me anymore. I'm so accustomed to coffee that it doesn't run through me like it used to. Neither does Taco Bell. I know the worldwide joke is that, Taco Bell makes you crap your pants. It does not do that for me. Neither does coffee anymore. So I found the solution. No amount of Duralex pills or medicinal laxatives do it for me. It's putting a microphone in my face, and I will erupt.
Oh, I'll try the microphone thing.
No, I can't think of any specific examples. Thank the Lord you can pause single player experiences, but in multiplayer, I've definitely been in some matches I'm like having a great match. I'd love to come out on top, but it's either I respect my body and pay a visit to the porcelain throne, or I get these kills. So,
have you ever been on a run and had to go poop? Either of you?
No, but I have been in the shower, and it kind of sucks when it's wonderful when it works out where like you can dump and then hop into the shower. But when you're in the middle of a shower and you're like, it's coming now, like you got to get out, and you're like Neo when he's birthed in the Matrix, getting out of the shower. You're like all slimy and wet, and you sit down in the toilet.
You're dripping all over it.
It is a just slopping, disgusting experience, and you can't wipe.
Yeah, you can't wipe.
And the toilet paper will disintegrate in your rear end. So, of course, wipes kind of alleviate that, but you may as well at that point just jump back in the shower.
Somebody posted a meme on our meme page the other day of a guy just covered in soap, just sitting on his,
I've basically been there,
naked
dude.
with the
I've been
shower
there.
running.
I want to share again. You guys that post on the meme page are
Dude,
true heroes.
I
You guys
just
are
read
heroes.
a meme a second ago that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are.
chuckling
I know
over
you'll find them online, but and repost them. But that's the thing. Like people that select particular memes, like that's an art to me. Like when you spot something that like really is going to make people laugh, and that is a skill set. Something that's so funny that our generation would get a kick out of if you had it on a resume, like expert meme sharer, or like someone who like really
expert memer.
has a grasp on memes, like meme expert. I feel like that would truly like intrigue and like make someone laugh in an interview. But I hats off, major salute to you guys for sharing those, because every day I don't like say much, but I laugh hysterically every day when I get on the meme page. So
yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I've stolen a lot of them, and as you do with memes, you take the ones you think are funny and you repost them elsewhere.
Right. Yeah. There's something I saw earlier this week that made me laugh so freaking hard. I think I saved it. Let me see. By the way, I share all this in saying that I have to dump my brains out right now, dude. It's so bad. Dude, that one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Titanic with the Pokemon cards.
Yes, I was literally just laughing at that.
That's the one I
exact
say.
same one.
Which one is that?
It's just like he's so proud of his collection. I have totally been that kid too. It's so funny.
That is so funny. It's for Leonardo DiCaprio from Titanic showing. It's the scene where he's showing Rose his pictures he's drawn, and it just shows his sleeve of Pokemon cards.
That is brilliant.
That is so funny.
Yeah, you're right. The one with the Leonardo DiCaprio where he has the drink is so funny.
And
Like
doing
anytime anyone
Robert
uses
Pattinson
that.
and Batman 2021, that shot from The Nightman Cometh from It's Always Sunny. So
Yeah.
good.
Definitely, if you haven't seen our meme page on Discord, that's worth it in itself to join to get access to that. So, anyways, what was the question?
Have you ever had to take an emergency poop and it's like ruined something?
During gaming or non-gaming related.
I don't know if
I know
it's
you
ever
ruined your family
ruined
vacation to
anything.
Disney when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, it was 100th and Walt Disney's 100th birthday fireworks, and I had to crap, but I couldn't go in a public toilet, so my parents had to drive me back to the hotel and miss the fireworks.
Rest. You should have just pooped
Dude,
yourself.
I made up for it the last time I was at Disney World. I think I pooped in every kingdom the last time I was there.
It's quite the
Every
feat.
kingdom. You christened every kingdom.
They're welcome.
This
I had
kingdom
to
is
go too
mine
much
now.
there. Yeah, me and the Disney food didn't get along too well that entire trip.
Man, I'm trying to think.
What do you guys like to get it like for snacks at those parks? Is there like something that always stands out to you?
I mean, Preston and I went to town on those sugary nuts.
Nuts, yeah, the almonds,
Yeah,
glazed
yeah.
almonds, those are good.
Those,
I had a
those
lot of.
sweaty
I think
nuts?
I had like 2 cones of ice cream a day when we were there
I
last.
love
yeah.
the ice cream. Oh yeah.
I love the Mickey ice cream heads.
Mm.
Those
Classic,
are great.
man. So good.
I don't know, dude. One night we left, we went to the candy shop, and I got a whole log of
Fudge.
fudge and
Yep.
a giant Mickey cookie, and just ate both of them on the way back, and that was delicious.
That was a
really
great
liked
trip.
those.
That was really fun.
That was fun.
I like those ice cream bars that are like the chocolate bars, but they're shaped like the Mickey face with the ears.
Mhm.
It's the chocolate.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the
vanilla
ice cream sandwich or the
shake.
one on a stick.
The one on a stick.
Yeah, those are.
I like those a lot.
The best soft serve ice cream at Disney. I want to do you guys a favor. I know we're in the midst of a pandemic, but if you're bold enough to go to Disney right now, go to France, or Epcot in France, or France and Epcot, excuse me. And now you can get soft serve ice cream all over the parks, and it's good. But the best, and it's made differently. I proved it because my mom, or maybe it was Preston's mom, didn't believe me. I'm like, I promise you, this is the best.
I will vouch for you. They all taste different because your mom is like, I like to get my ice cream near Winnie the Pooh.
Yep.
And we went there, and then my mom was like, no, I like to get ice cream over near in the future area or Tomorrowland or whatever. And then and I had and then we went to Epcot, and I had it from all three places, and they all three tasted different.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Garrett. I thought the Epcot ice cream tasted the best.
Yeah. See, it's a little pavilion, like a little hut that's across from the main restaurant in France. It is directly across from it, and they can put ice cream on crepes and stuff. I mean, however you get it is fine, but they have that chocolate vanilla swirl to die for, man.
I love crepes.
Dude, I know you didn't like it, but I thought they were fantastic. The macaroon ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, I'm not into them.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Now, the ice
They had
cream
a
I tried from that
seasonal-
shop was really good, though.
Yeah, they had we got the seasonal one though. It was like a strawberry macaroon.
I heard like the
so
vanilla
maybe
and chocolate ones are way better.
It's better. I liked it, but you know, I'll pretty much eat anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm really the person to
Like
to
pineapple
take
on
their
pizza.
word for it. Yeah,
Um,
hush your mouth, dude. I ate your stupid
pepperoni
pepperoni
and
sausage pizza
was
last night.
classic and simple. It was delicious. That Papa John's though was good.
It was good.
I hadn't had it in a while. Let's do. I'll do Dexter's and then Broken Gamers. We'll call it a day.
Okay.
Dexter Clark writes in and says, "Good day, gentlemen. This is Dexter Clark. Dexter, pleasure as always. Says long time, not first time. Have any of you jumped back into No Man's Sky? I started playing it the other day and really enjoyed it. I did have to watch Beginner's Guide to get back into the swing of things though, but the changes they made to the game are fantastic. Completely different from different game from launch. On top of that, I started playing Control again. Not sure how I blew past this title, but the combat is awesome. Story's a little out there, but all in all, I'm enjoying my time with it. Also played Ghost of Tsushima and loving it. We definitely need a big open world to get us through this Corona summer. If you can't tell, I am one of those guys that has to play multiple titles at once. Sounds like Preston. Got to get my fix in all types of genres. Jacob mentioned No Man's Sky, and I kind of talked about
I have gone back to No
improvements.
Man's Sky. Not too long ago actually, and it is a completely different game. Felt more like Minecraft, kind of. You're actually having to build like stuff, you know, like
Just build
houses
stuff,
and
man.
crap.
Name your planets.
Definitely a lot more stuff going on than when it originally released. But yeah, I'm not really too into survival games like that in the first place, so it didn't completely hold my interest, but I completely commend them for sticking with it and making a game that people really do like. And yes, Control is really awesome. I don't think either of you have played Control.
No, I want to.
Yeah, it's good.
I do want
I'm
to.
way too cool for that game, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's true. You are really cool.
Anyway.
Okay, cool.
I replayed a little No Man's Sky 2 a couple of months ago. I think when the first big, like major, whatever they called it, update, like Fire in the Sky or something. What do they call it? Next.
Beyond.
I think they called it Next.
Or Next, yeah.
I played a little of that and it was cool. I love the idea of Control. That's on my list as well. I mean, I have that giant list I'm always talking about, but I love the shape-shifting gun and the superpowers. Look pretty cool too. So I actually thought that was going to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
They won IGNs.
Yep. So I was right to some extent. What are we talking about? Broken Gamer, big finale, says, "Hi there, awesome gentlemen. Hope you guys had a good week. With the next generation of consoles coming, what games from the past would you like to see come back? For me, it's Siphon Filter, Parasite Eve, and Chrono Trigger, just to name a few. I've named I want Prince of Persia back. That's seemingly happening, thankfully. I know Preston and I want to see Splinter Cell return.
I would love Siphon Filter to come back. That is a Sony. I think
I never
don't know if
played it.
Sony has that, or if it's a Bend thing they own. I don't know. I would love that to come back.
Every week in voice chat, my guild leader tells me how much he loves Chrono Trigger, and it makes me want to play it. And I do really want to play Chrono Trigger. I know it.
I've always heard it's great.
Like I've been tempted just to get the Steam version and play through it, but like he says that version's fine, but I've heard like it's a little jank compared to like the original. But I might do that because I don't have access to what system did it come out on, the Nintendo
SNES.
Yeah, so you know.
Garrett, have you heard anything else about the Prince of Persia thing? Because the more things I hear about it, the more concerned I get. Because Jason Schreier confirmed that it's happening. Like a Prince of Persia thing is happening. I don't know if it's a Sands of Time remake. Some people are speculating that it's just a remake of the very first Prince of Persia game, which is that side-scrolling game. And then some people are saying it's the 2008 Prince of Persia game that they're just making a definitive edition of. So nobody's said exactly what it is, but that there just is a Prince of Persia thing coming.
Dude,
so
as far as I know, that French gentleman told me Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, quote, is what he said. So they may just be calling it Prince of Persia and dropping the Sands of Time aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's the case. Granted, the 2008 Prince of Persia game is really good. I think severely underrated.
If I had my choice, I'd choose original trilogy, though. Or not original, but like the PS2 era trilogy.
100%. If that's all we get, though, I'm going to be
What if they're calling it Prince of Persia and it's all 3 games in one?
I mean,
I wouldn't put it past them to do that.
That'd be sick, but I just want Sands of Time, at least.
Yeah. My only hope is that if it is a remake, it's of course reimagined and has far superior combat.
Watch it just be like, this is our classic bring back of the very first game with like all these filters over it or something on like iOS and Android.
Yeah. Gosh, that sucked. I also want the original soundtrack from Sands of Time. It's amazing. Just remastered. Either remaster the original soundtrack or re-record it. Like, if you're going to do a remake, dude, you may as well go all in and not half-ass it. Like, do everything. Sound design, music, graphically, of course. My biggest hope is that they just revamp the combat, because I think the platforming is satisfying enough in all those, at least Sands of Time, especially the puzzles too. So give us some gnarly combat. Not necessarily Assassin's Creed combat either. So
yeah. If we want to talk about like remasters, I'd love to see that Mass Effect trilogy come back. I want to play that, and it's
coming.
Yeah,
October.
I keep hearing that, but it's not here.
Dude,
Preston.
Jeff, no, it's coming. If you follow Jeff Grubb on Twitter, his Summer Games Mess thing, he's got a remaster for October where he spells it REMASSTER, and he's had that forever. There's so much smoke about this. It is coming next month. They're going to announce it and drop it next month.
Yeah, dude, Mass Effect 2.
Actually, what's today? October, so it's almost September.
Yeah, it's 30th.
Jacob, it's happening.
Play Mass Effect 2 and play BioShock, I beg you.
Dude, if they completely remake like the first game with Mass Effect 2 combat or whatever, that's cool and stuff, but I don't trust you to play through the first game to get to the second game, so just play the second one to start out with.
Yep. And if you like it enough, sure, go back, but 2 is definitively the best of them all.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
I should play it, I know.
And I might jam to the soundtrack on my way back to Atlanta today, just because I love it that much.
And also, I'm really excited.
The DLC from 2 is so good too. I just recently played through it. It's awesome. Oh yeah.
Another one's Demon Souls, but that's already coming.
Oh yeah. I'm very, very excited for Demon Souls. If that's a launch title, I'm gonna poop my pants.
I'm about to poop my pants right now. I gotta go so bad. I didn't even drink coffee. I had hot tea. And I gotta go, man. But gentlemen, for my sake, if it's cool with you, I'd love to conclude here.
Yeah, sounds good.
I understand.
For the sake of my faces, it was a pleasure as always. Love you guys to bits, and a lot of exciting stuff on the horizon. Cannot wait to play these next-gen games, and of course, we have a couple more cool things coming this year with Call of Duty and Cyberpunk.
And WoW.
All the old titles. I really
sacrifice. Make sure you sacrifice enough small animals so Sony selects you to pre-order.
Exactly.
PS5.
Yep.
Wait, that's what you have to do? Oh my god.
Yeah, you
I gotta get busy.
You have to sacrifice an Xbox fanboys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can find one of those.
So,
You have to
They're
burn
very
a certain number of
scarce.
footstools to gain access to PS5 pre-orders.
Thank you again for everyone that wrote in this week. We had a lot of good questions, so thank you.
I got to be honest, man. The One X or the Series X is even a superior footstool than the Xbox. What are they called? Xbox One? Can't remember the names anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a taller footstool, so
Yeah.
and it has that
It's
vent
got
on
cooling
top
on
to
the
kind
top.
of like cool,
Yeah, keep your
feet
warm.
cool or
Well,
warm.
to keep
yeah.
it warm,
Yep.
it's an exhaust fan.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right. So you keep
is
your
it
feet warm in the
exhaust?
winter months, a little propped up a little higher. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure by now we don't have to clarify that joke with our listeners, but
What
hashtag
joke?
not fanboys.
What joke?
Yes, exactly. But to all of you tuning in around the world, we love you to bits and cannot thank you enough for your continued support, the questions you send us week in and week out. It's always our favorite part of the podcast. And we love hearing your thoughts on all things gaming, movies, TV shows, music, comics, anime, your content as well. That's what our Discord is for, not just a place to keep up to date with all things It's Obvious Gaming, but to keep up to date with the community as a whole and to share your own art, your own creations. If you're a streamer, if you're a YouTuber, whatever you want to share in the Discord, we have that section as well. So we love hearing from you guys, and I hope you have a blessed, safe, and wonderful week. And we can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you, Garrett. Yes, everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.